What's going on, YouTube? I'm glad that worked so quickly. I'm here to talk about two things today. The first thing we're going to talk about is Dr. Jordan B. Peterson seems to be back, and he's got a new book. I want to talk about that and something that's probably not so popular, but pretty important about pills and the pharmacy industry, something that I think he missed a little bit. And then the second thing I want to talk about is Trump said that the U.S. coronavirus vaccine will be available next week. Hooray. Lucky for us. Let me launch the YouTube and we'll get it cracking. Someone said butter and biscuits. I'm not quite sure what that means, but what's up? What's going on, Facebook? Sorry if you just caught it at that. We got the YouTube started a few seconds earlier and we got Facebook. I'm here to talk about two things. Like I just said, one, Trump talking about the coronavirus vaccine is available next week, he thinks. And then also Jordan Peterson's new book after a couple years of a hiatus. On Facebook, I'm sorry you're a little slanted. I couldn't get my thing right, so I figured I'd just launch it. We're just, we're an upside down world, so that's just pretend I'm on a submarine and it all makes sense. And then to both people, as everybody gets in, thank you for joining on YouTube. I appreciate the support. Thank you guys on Facebook for being here. It seems like my live stream is the best option to reach you guys since they seem to have cut my reach on regular things. What's up, Jason? He said, yo. What's up, Crazy Legs? Anthony Clark, I appreciate all of you. As people are getting in, and I'm going to drink my coffee a few times and we'll start as always, I wanted to say I've never been a salesman I never had a shop really for the first 4 years of me doing this. And as a lot of people know, I launched dreamrare.com, DREAMRARE. And Black Friday, apparently you're supposed to do a sale or something. So I decided to do 20% off light winter instead of dark winter, all one word caps, LIGHT winter, all one word, all caps, 20% off all the shirts. It's a real sale. It's not fake. I did it. I know. So that's what it is. I'm not going to beat you over the head with that, but I thought I'd fit in with a bunch of these corporations. And the best part is you don't have to beat up some random family for a flat screen TV that you're never going to use. So you can get a shirt that you'll maybe wear. Who we got? Melissa, what's going on? Derek, appreciate y'all. Angela said, thank you for having it. If people want it, they can get it, but I'm going to pass. That's how I feel. Hopefully the stream doesn't get taken down. Thank you for the operation. Rush it through safety trials. Get the mRNA vaccine to the public as fast as possible. I'm so grateful for your service. That's, of course, going to be used against us, but I'm good on it. Okay. Well, I'll get into that story second, but I just don't want it. That's just how I feel. And my message is to, I've gotten a lot of backlash over the last couple of weeks / pretty much forever, but I've been trying to tell, especially Trump supporters, that it doesn't matter that Trump doesn't want the mandatory vaccine. You've probably heard me say it here a lot, because every time I say something, I don't even mention it. And everyone says, Anomaly, you don't understand. Trump doesn't want the mandatory vaccine. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to get into that story second, but Trump doesn't want everyone to wear masks, but everyone's forced to wear masks. Trump probably wouldn't do what United Airlines is doing, but he has no say. He's not in control, unfortunately. He can't stop the lockdowns. He can't stop liberal cities or states from doing that. He can't stop multinational corporations. If he can, he hasn't done it so far. So the point I'm trying to get to, I'm not blaming the president. It's not his fault. It's not his fault for 60 years of big pharma. It's not his fault for Fauci. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm just simply stating, eventually we're going to have to realize either we become the plan or we get sucked up just waiting for Trump to do something. Like, I always use this as an example because I think it's really funny. Trump can't do everything. He can't wipe your butt. I'm going to use this example. It's like having a poopy butt, and then it's like you got to wipe your own butt. And then it's like, no, you don't understand, Anomaly. Trump's going to do it for me. He's going to come and wipe my butt. And then it's just like getting poopier and poopier, and it's just getting disgusting. Like, no one wants to hang out with you. It's getting weird. You smell bad, and no one wants to tell you because they're afraid you're going to wig out at them. Because if you tell them, maybe you should wipe your own butt, then you freak out. Anomaly, you're Mossad. You're Mossad. It's like, listen, no one wants to tell you. Everybody's afraid of you because you've been lashing out at everybody for months now. But I'm just going to be a friend and tell you, you have to wipe your own butt. Listen, Trump, he's in the White House. He's got big boy moves to make. He's dealing with Saudi Arabia, Israel, Iran, doing crazy stuff that you couldn't even fathom, okay? He's got Fauci on one side. He's got, the CIA on the other side. Trump is busy right now, Mr. Poopy Butt. Like, Anomaly, Trump doesn't want mandatory vaccine. He's not going to wipe your butt. He's just not. He could do a lot, but he can't wipe your butt. So, at a certain point, it's like, but Anomaly, I live in this fantasy world where Trump wipes my butt and I don't ever have to do anything again. It's like, it's not real. So before we start, I'm sorry if that's a gross example, but he's not going to stop mandatory vaccinations. He's not going to stop it on a state level. He's not going to be able to stop it on a city level. He's not going to be able to stop it on an airlines level. He's not going to be able to stop it on a travel level. He's not going to be able to stop it at Costco if they decide to do it. He's not going to be able to stop it almost anywhere. So this idea that he's going to come save you and wipe your butt with Durham, hopefully they do their job. Sidney Powell's a lawyer. Lynn Wood's working. I would think that Trump has a plan, obviously, but you're part of the plan. Wipe your own butt. Understand, if you wait forever, you're just going to watch everything that you thought Trump was going to save you from happen, because we're part of this equation too. And if 50 million of us wait, then we wait. If 50 million of us say, no, we're not doing it, we're not getting that, we are opening our business, then the business is open. It's really that simple. Someone said, Hydro PX13 said, where did you get your B ego from? Well, before we start, Hydro, if you're going to try to diss me, spell it right. I think you meant to say, where'd you get your big ego from? But you said, where'd you get your B ego from? So that's embarrassing. You didn't even spell it right. But I bought it on overstock.com because the CEO is pro Trump. So I switched from Amazon to Overstock. No, I'm just kidding. But what part of my poopy butt joke bothers you? It's like people with big egos. I make a joke about poopy butts. They're like, anomaly, you have a big ego. Like, maybe you have a big ego because you don't want to pretend that Trump's going to wipe your poopy butt for you. You're like, but anomaly, I read message boards who tell me Trump's going to wipe my poopy butt. And because you told me that he can't save me from mandatory vaccines, I'm going to falsely accuse you of having a huge ego because, it takes such a big ego to realize that, the president of the United States can't do everything for you because that's what it is. It's not realistic. It's not common sense. It's ego. You're just so full of yourself because you don't believe the plan that I have that Trump could stop me from the mandatory vaccine. I'm sorry. I have a sense of humor. I'm sorry. I run a live. I could just sit here and be like Squidward and be boring, but I choose to try to be funny because people are watching. So, I don't know what part of, Trump can't do everything that you ever want him to do ever means that I have a huge ego. But, next time you try to diss me with the super chat, thanks for your $5. But, spell it right. Don't let it get to your head, so to speak, so you can't even hit the keys right. But, first story I want to talk about. Hold on, time out. This is not a scripted show. I don't have a team. I spilled coffee. I can't let it get on my desk. I had to wipe it up. I'm sorry. I do my own lighting. I do everything. Can't have a coffee stain on my new desk. Okay, I got that stand-up desk. Sorry, very unprofessional. First story I want to talk about today. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. Most people like it. It's okay. It's an acquired taste. First story I want to talk about today, I actually want to start with the Jordan Peterson story because this has been something close to me and I've never fully explained it, and I feel like I get misconstrued when I type it and I don't like typing things. So I figured I would say it. So Jordan Peterson is back, which is great. I think a lot of people are praying for Jordan Peterson. If you guys don't know who Jordan B. Peterson is, he's a professor and also a clinical psychologist. He rose to fame in Canada and eventually the world because he was fighting the crazy, communist left-wing, pronoun laws. And basically his original stance was, it's not that I don't want to call you by your preferred pronouns. I don't want the government to force me to call you by your preferred pronouns. Thank you guys for the super chats. I got to wait till after. I'm sorry. So if you want me to read it, just wait till after. So that was a stance. He's like, I don't want the government to force me to say something that's unnatural to me. So he rose to fame and then he started going on television, and Jordan B. Peterson, he became really the face of the right wing around the world, even though he's not really right wing. And he became the face of common sense people who just felt like, normal liberals, normal conservatives that just felt blown away by the psychotic, new stances of the left wing over the last couple of years. And he seriously became the biggest thing ever. he was doing, I went to a show, my friend bought a ticket. The tickets were $80 or something. He's making $100K a night probably, selling out huge, Coliseum type things, 4,000 people, 80, 70, $50 a tickets. He was literally the biggest thing since sliced bread, just killing it on every level. And then he had a huge problem. I think he had some sort of pharmacy pill problem. I don't know if it was opioids or something else, but he's pretty much been missing for 2 years at the height of his career. The pharmacy pills kind of wiped him out. And I've heard him on podcasts with his daughter, who seems like she's really nice. And he sounded like he got his soul sucked out of him by pharmacy pills. And this is a huge problem, not just in North America. I know he's not from America, but in the world, the pharmacy pill problem, the opioid problem, the psychosis that a lot of these pills are giving people, and the death toll of a lot of these. I know Purdue Pharmacy just got in a lot of trouble for what they did. I mean, this is one of the biggest problems in the world, especially among the youth. And, I started out with all compliments because obviously I want Jordan Peterson to get better. I pray for him. And this is something that's relatable. Everybody knows somebody that had a problem with pills. But one thing that I always found very, very odd, very weird, even before he had the pill problem, I always found it very strange that he had a huge blind spot for pharmacy pills. I mean, it was very odd to me. And I know a lot of people, when I used to say it, they said, Anomaly, don't be so harsh. We're not all perfect. And listen, I'm not perfect. I have many, many flaws. I'm also not a clinical psychologist. I'm also not writing self-help books telling people how to live their life. So I always just found it odd because even before he had the pill problem, in my opinion, he was kind of coaxing people into taking pills, which I thought was very dangerous. I'm like, I like the guy. I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm not picking fights or being irrational. But if you're responsible for tens of millions of people following you and you're responsible, not just like some random YouTuber, like you are a psychologist. You're writing self-help books telling people how to live their life. And, the second rule of his book, I have the rules here. The first one was stand up, 12 rules for life was his big book. First one was stand up straight with your shoulders back. It's a great rule. The second one was treat yourself like you are someone you're responsible for helping. And if anybody's read the book, oh wait, sorry, they played my live stream on here. If anyone's read the book, it's basically like him talking about how you should take your pills and the doctor gives you pills. And I read the chapter and I just thought it was very strange. I'm like, this dude is promoting, pretty much in my opinion, promoting pharmacy pills to people and doesn't even understand how, side effects. And once again, I'm going to play a clip real quick from another psychologist on YouTube, but it's not that I'm trying to be mean. I'm not trying to hold anybody to high standards. I pray for the guy, but your whole job, like my job, I'm a hip hop artist. I'm a YouTube personality or something. Before that, I did advertising, and I still take my reach seriously. Everyone makes mistakes, but I take my audience seriously. This guy's job was to understand the human brain. Like this literally was his job, to coach people, to help them, and to understand the human brain. And he didn't understand the number one thing that's like killing the youth, the number one thing that's destroying the minds of our people. And he not only didn't understand that, he pretty much promoted it and had a blind spot for it. And then it happened to him. I always thought that was weird. And I'm just going to play a clip real quick. It's like a minute long. This is Cassie Harris. She's a cognitive psychologist on YouTube. And she kind of said the same thing because he has a chapter about how you should take your pills for kidney dialysis and how you should listen to your doctor. And he in his mind, like he had all these reasons for why people don't take it. And the one thing he never mentioned was side effects from pills, or in some cases, the main effects from pills, which is not a small thing. I mean, it's affected millions of families and lives. So the fact that he's writing self-help books with a blind spot for pharmacy stuff, has pharmacy problems himself, and then comes back after years of being missing, he's still not fully there. And he's going to write another self-help book telling people how to live their lives when he doesn't even have his life together. I'm just saying it's kind of suspicious. Someone said he was at the Trilateral Commission. I know that's also very odd, but I'm just going to play this clip, drink my coffee, and then I'm going to come back real quick here. Listen to what she says, because this is kind of how I felt as well.
But I'm surprised he didn't touch on side effects. So as a person with bipolar, anxiety, OCD, and a nerve issue, atypical trigeminal neuralgia, if you're curious, I have been on a bunch of medications trying to find ones that will work. I've had a lot that didn't work because of side effects. So some have given me muscle twitches. Like I discovered I can move my ear because of a drug I was on in middle school. Others have made me lose my hair. The worst was a drug that basically obliterated my platelets. Like I was told by my doctor when he got the test score result back on it, don't get in a car accident. Great. So side effects are absolutely a reason why people don't take drugs. They're not fun. And if you don't think the cost benefit analysis is in your favor, you're not going to take the drug. And I imagine if it was something like an anti-rejection drug, I might be able to better deal with the side effects, but I haven't been there, so I can't say. And I would think this would be something that would be important and relevant to him as a clinical psychologist, because this is a huge reason why people with schizophrenia stop taking drugs. These side effects on the antipsychotics are just not good. And if somebody thinks, okay, I'm doing well enough, I'm going to stop taking the drugs because they make me feel awful.
All right, so that's I just want to give credit. That's Cassie Aris on YouTube. She's some smaller cognitive psychologist of some sort, and she was basically just she was doing a review of his book 12 Rules for Life. It was one of the most popular books of like the last few years, and he's writing basically like a pro pill, pro doctor, pro pharma chapter essentially, and mapping out all the reasons that people wouldn't take a pill. And he never talked about the side effects, because before he had the side effects happen to himself, either he was lying to people and misleading millions of people. I would think that he's a nice guy, so he wouldn't purposely do that. But as a clinical psychologist, you didn't know that pills could do that to people? Like that, to me, I'm not a psychologist. I knew this when I was 18. Just looking around, people dying from pills, my friends going insane from pills. Like, this is like one of the biggest problems in the country. His job is literally to study the human mind and help people through this. And he wrote a book that, I thought was kind of pro pill, pro doctor, pro pharma, without even mentioning that side effects were bad. And then I said this before he had a problem. And then he had this huge problem where he went out for 2 years. And once again, I'm not picking on him, kicking someone when they're down. God bless this guy's soul. I pray for him. I pray that he heals. I pray that he gets his mind and spirit back, because he's one of the most intriguing, helpful people of the last 5 years. When he's on game, there's almost no one better. But he's been gone for 2 years. He pretty much lost his mind on the pills that he told people he didn't even know there were problems with them. And then he's not even fully back. I heard him on a podcast just a few months ago, and he seems like a shell of himself. He seems like, he's lost his mind and his soul to some extent, and he still hasn't gotten it back, and he's still struggling, which is no joke. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying, but then he comes back on YouTube, and the first thing he does is write another self-help book. I'm like, is this normal to people? His own rules are set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world, clean your bed, clean your room, which I agree with. But then he loses his mind over pills that he once pretty much endorsed and promoted without warning people of the proper side effects. It happens to him. And the first thing he does before he even fully recovers the health is writes a new book telling other people how to live their life. I find it very, very shocking as somebody who is a fan of his, and I like what he does. And I think he's one of the best at what he does. But if you're, and the reason that I say this is not to pick on him, but like when you're the biggest clinical psychologist in the world, reaching hundreds of millions of people, and you don't even know that side effects and pharmacy pills can destroy your mind and your body, red flag. And, I don't know. I just find it very shocking. And I hope that his new book isn't filled with errors like the last book, because people read that and listen to him. And our country, our kids, our youth, the world is being decimated by these pills. Obviously, some of them have good side effects. Some of them are necessary. I'm not a doctor. Consult your local physician for legal reasons. But imagine being this as your profession and not knowing this stuff and misleading millions of people into that, not recovering, having exactly what you didn't know could happen to you. And the first thing you do is write a new book telling people how to, have their life in order, when the last 2 years of your life, you're an adult and your life has not been in order. Like literally you've like lost yourself where you couldn't do anything for 2 years. I'm not knocking him. I want him to heal. But like, it's just shocking to me that he would write a new self-help book when he's admitted the last 3 years of his life have been like a race, because he's been like struggling to even like pull himself together as a human being. I'm not knocking him. Prayers for him. God bless. I just, I hope that the book is filled with wisdom and knowledge, and not more bad advice and bad analogies on pharmacy pills that a lot of people are going to listen to. And, I would just think that that's got to be somewhere in the equation. And I'm guessing it will now that it happened to him. Prayers to him, prayers to his family, but always was a red flag to me. And as a fan waiting for him to come back, I expected him to come back and start speaking and have some things. I did not expect him to come back and immediately launch a new book telling people how to keep their life in order, when he doesn't seem to be able to do that himself. A little bit weird. But what someone said, he's been writing the book for 3 years. That's great. But the last 3 years of his life, he's been completely like not himself, not able to do anything. Like if you listen to his story with his daughter, I'm a fan. He literally said, like, I've been able to do like virtually nothing for the last 2 years. So I just don't know. I just find it shocking. The real reason I'm making this, I don't need attention or drama. I just know that millions of kids are suffering from side effects. Millions of kids are suffering mentally gone, kind of like he was in a sense. Like some of these pills are crazy bad. And once you go down that path, it's literally like a drug. Consult your doctor, but I just want to make sure the kids are not taking pills and stuff, because he used to say that stuff. And I used to be like, what's he talking about? And then it literally happened to him. I said this before it happened to him. It's like, I'm not telling people what to and not do. Talk to your doctor. But yeah, you got to take the side effects seriously. You got to take prescription pills seriously. And you have to know the downsides of like all this stuff. I mean, I wouldn't go near any of these drugs, but I mean, talk to your doctor for legal reasons. But I would, kratom is legal where I'm from. I took kratom when I hurt my foot. It's a coffee bean plant. It's legal now in certain areas, and that doesn't have the addictive side effects and stuff. I mean, it is what it is. But I just want to throw that out there. Second story I want to talk about, speaking of the pharmacy stuff, and one more thing, the pharmacy industry has been out of control for 40 years. Now they've completely swallowed up our society. Once again, just to wrap that up, I'm not knocking the guy. Prayers for him. God bless him and his family. I hope he speeds to full recovery. But if your job is studying the human mind and behavior and keeping your life in order, and probably one of the biggest threats, if not the biggest threat to, mindset and keeping your life in order, is this industry that is now so big and bloated out of control that it's literally shut our country down. The CDC, Big Pharma, Fauci, World Health Organization, they've pretty much collaborated this year to take over society. So it's not like a little issue. This is why I'm saying it's not like, oh, I'm picking little apples to orange. It's like, no, this issue's so big, I can't go to the gym. I can't go here. You can't go to a grocery store. They're literally like destroying liberal states. And even in Florida and Texas, multinational corporations, the CDC and these bigger things have pretty much destroyed our society. So it's not a small thing, it's not like I'm trying to like hurt. It's like, this is so big. It's outrageous. You can't ignore it. Speaking of that, the second story is Trump says coronavirus vaccine will be delivered starting next week. I'm just going to read. Frontline workers, medical personnel, and seniors will be the vaccine's first recipients. How lucky. God bless the frontline workers, medical personnel, and seniors. They're the lucky recipients of the first coronavirus vaccine. I'll read a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go straight to the CDC website so they could tell you how the mRNA vaccine has literally it's a brand new thing. They've been studying it for a while, but there's none on the market. So Trump said, the whole world is suffering and we're rounding the curve, Trump said, and the vaccines are being delivered next week and the week after. He said Joe Biden failed with the swine flu, totally failed. It's like, I'm the guy. I got the vaccines faster. My vaccines are faster and stronger than ever. And I guess Trump supporters just love that because it's Trump. If this was Biden, you'd have 100%, resistance to such a rushed drug. And they tell you you're a conspiracy theorist and you're a horrible person if you question the pharma industry. But if you turn on the television, every other commercial is like suing Johnson & Johnson, sue this person, sue that pill, sue that. Purdue Pharma's in court right now losing. We'll see what happens to them. This is not a theory. It's like you can't turn and find a pharmacy industry that didn't stab you in the back. Yet you have Operation, Warp Speed Russia vaccine through safety trials. And Trump supporters are just magically making up fake theories about it because they love the guy so much. They don't even believe in their own values. This is straight off the CDC website. It says, COVID-19 mRNA vaccines give instructions for our cells to make a harmless piece of what's called a spike protein. The spike protein is found on the surface of the virus that causes COVID-19. I'm just going to roll through. It says there are no currently licensed mRNA vaccines in the United States. However, researchers have been studying and working with them for decades. Interest has grown in these vaccines. So there's none licensed on the market. No mRNA vaccines. They've been studying them for decades. But, most vaccines, even though they've been studying mRNA vaccines, they say that they've started studying COVID vaccines this year, maybe last year. Like they don't normally rush vaccines this quickly. Sometimes it takes 5 years, 8 years. The Lyme disease vaccine got taken off the market. There's been, since Reagan passed his thing where the government basically collaborates with big pharma. When you sue the government. They have indemnification. There's all sorts of stuff. I mean, you could search and find a 60 Minutes clip of Mike Wallace, the sneaky father of Sneaky Chris Wallace, who, he did a whole 60 Minutes piece on a swine flu vaccine back in the 60s or 70s and talked about all the side effects to that and had people who were paralyzed on the news. This is not my opinion. I'm just letting Facebook know, or Fake Book, who doesn't like the CDC stats or the data. This is 60 Minutes doing documentaries on this. This is like a known thing that was known in these times, but we've been so taken over by Facebook, Google, Twitter, YouTube, and they've closed down on any sort of opinion outside of big pharma that they're acting like the truth is a conspiracy theory. You can't suggest that pharmacy would do that. You did 60-minute pieces 40 years ago. Not me, Mike Wallace, your little buddy. He did a 60-minute piece on a paralyzed woman because of it. Okay? I don't even watch television, but when I do watch the disgusting television, every other commercial is suing a company. Sue this company, sue that company, sue this pill company, sue this pharma company, Purdue, sue. This is not my theory. It's a fact that, dozens of pharmacy companies have made mistakes, obviously, and they tell you 15 years after they pump it down your throat, then they tell you, and then you're able to sue. But who died? How many people died from Purdue Pharmaceuticals? They'll decide that in court. This is not a theory. So this is Operation Russian mRNA vaccine through safety trials when there's not a single one on the market. Even the CDC says so. And this is the political theater that's really bothering me. And I'm just going to say it because I'm really starting to feel this way. I'm at peace regardless of what happens, okay? Because my end game doesn't change. I'm faithful to God. I believe that what's meant to be will be, and I can do my part and everyone else can do theirs. But at the end of the day, I'm not tripping. But people know I like the president of the United States. People know how I feel about this election. People know that I've done what I can to help him get elected because I think he's the better candidate. But if you want to be quite honest, I really don't care at this point. And I'm not one of these people that's going to stab him in the back and say it's over. It's not over. Supreme Court, elections, lawsuits, Giuliani, Ellis, Powell, it's all real. Trump should have as long as he wants to try to prove this election. And once the electorates do what they do, I still am behind Trump. If he wants to, challenge it, I'm with them. I'm with them 100% of the way. It's not over. I'm with them on that. But if you want to be honest, I'm not going to freak out if Joe Biden wins because this is a wake-up call to Trump supporters. I find it shocking that I'm able to balance, I like Trump, but I don't agree with this. I like Trump. If everyone did that, I would say he needs to win 110%. If Biden wins, it's going to be catastrophic. To me, there's pros and cons of both. The pros of Trump are obvious, but the pros of a Biden presidency is 100% of Trump supporters will wake up. If Hillary Clinton did Operation Warp Speed, you'd have 95% of conservatives railing against it. Trump does Operation Warp Speed, you have 95 conservatives in this trance. Anomaly, he doesn't want mandated vaccines. It doesn't matter what he wants. Anomaly, he's doing it to beat the Bill Gates vaccine. No, he's not. You could read the bill itself. It gives money to Moderna and all the companies that Bill Gates is funding. He's not fighting Bill Gates. He's working with Gavi, which is a Bill Gates Alliance vaccine company. I mean, this whole year, Bill Gates is one of the biggest pharmacy donors. Trump is doling out money to his companies. Like this, he's not fighting. It's like people are making up fake theories just to try to justify why they think Trump agrees with them. It's become like a right-wing brainwashing tactic. It's like if Trump does something I don't agree with, I don't knock him for it like evilly. I'm just like, you know what? Like maybe his hands are tied. I don't agree with it. I'm going to stand up against it. Other people like make up something that's totally provably not real just to try to cope with the fact that they don't agree with Trump anymore. So I don't even care if Biden wins because then it's going to wake 100% of Trump supporters up. There is no plan. We have to do it ourselves. They're going to do mandatory vaccines. The lockdowns still haven't ended. It's been 6 months and nothing stopped. If Trump wins, apparently people can't handle it. I can handle it, but they're like, no, he doesn't want to do this. Operation Warp Speed. No, they're rushing an mRNA vaccine through safety trials. It's going to be on the market. They're going to jack it into your elders. Most places, even in Texas and Florida, are going to treat the elderly like prisoners, and they're going to start going rogue. If your grandma doesn't have the mRNA vaccine, she can't get into this nursing home. She can't get on a plane. She can't go into Costco. She can't go anywhere, even in Florida and Texas. Everybody says, Anomaly, you're just mad because you're in a left liberal state. I have friends in Florida. They're telling me half the places they go are rogue because they're multinational corporations. They don't even listen to DeSantis, and apparently they don't have to. So it's like, it's not. I watched a woman get pulled off an airplane in South Dakota, the most free state. She got arrested by a police officer, back the blue, dragging her off of United Airlines because she wouldn't wear a mask. So I almost feel like you need a wake-up call. I don't need a wake-up call, but apparently Trump supporters do, because it's like when I say this stuff, 80% of my comments are like, he's releasing it, but he doesn't want it to be mandatory. You think he has any say? The CDC doesn't listen to him. The World Health Organization doesn't listen to him. The United Airlines doesn't listen to him. Costco doesn't listen to him. Walmart doesn't listen to him. Facebook, Google, none of these people listen to him. So when he rushes the vaccine and it's there, it's going to be used against you, obviously. And people fought me he's trying to rush it past the Bill Gates vaccine. No, he's not. He gave money to Moderna. Moderna is the Bill Gates favorite. That's going to be one of the main vaccines. And Trump's bragging about it. It's like, stop making up fake theories just to justify. And someone said, well, this country's toast. Well, here's the silver lining that I'm talking about. We're not toast. We're only toast if people fall for it. This is the political theater that the elites like to do. Well, you like Trump. Here's what he's going to do. And you're going to agree with it because you like Trump. Well, you like Obama, so you're going to be okay with slavery in Libya. Well, you like Obama, so now you're pro-lockdown. They play these games and brainwash both sides, where it's like, if you're liberal, no offense, I've never seen a more brainwashed person than a liberal in 2020. I literally don't even understand. It's like there's been a segregation intellect-wise or like brainwash-wise where it's like pro-lockdown, pro-mask mandate, like you'll do anything the opposite of Trump. The left wing is like useless. I mean, the old liberals like George Carlin, they just don't exist anymore. They're far right now, because you have to be, that's what they'll call you if you believe in free speech. So the moderate liberal isn't even a thing anymore. If you're left wing, you don't know anything. But then you get this game where they play this political theater game where you have now, they actually flipped on vaccines that now Trump is calling left wingers anti-vaxxers. And I have people that I'm positive are not massive fans of these things. They're playing this game because they're in political theater. They're like, well, if Trump says it, Cuomo's an anti-vaxxer. So now the right wing is rushing these through safety trials, and it's the left wing who's rejecting it for political reasons. So you're going to call them an anti-vaxxer because they think it's a rushed vaccine? Like, this is how stupid people are. If this is the case, like, people can't handle a Trump victory. They're going to be so brainwashed for 4 years. They're going to be like, he's doing this. It's like, what world are you living in? Are you that easy to manipulate that you like the president? So now you're going to flip-flop 180 on something that you believed 2 days ago because Chris Cuomo believes it. I can't stand Chris Cuomo, but perhaps maybe the only good thing he's ever done was pretend like he's against rushed vaccines just for political reasons. But that doesn't make him an anti-vaxxer. I mean, that's a reasonable stance. Is he doing it for the right reasons? Of course not. He's a total liar. He's an actor. But I'm blown away by like both sides of the brainwash, right? Like I want Trump to win, but at the same time, I'm not going to cry if he loses and doesn't win, because people need a wake-up call. I couldn't believe so many people. Someone said not all right wingers are the word, and this is going to be in my new book. The word anti-vax is not a word. Stop using that word. Pro-vax, anti-vax. These are things. Conspiracy theory. You're a climate change denier. These are words that they invented to make you seem crazy for having a brain. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm pro-common sense. And pro-common sense tells me that, the pharmacy industry does not have the best track record. I'm pro-science. The science says that you have, 99 whatever point recovery rate. But also, if you get coronavirus and you're around my age bracket, your immunity to it is, look at the stats of it, like 99.999. Rand Paul says it, Thomas Massey says it, even Trump says it, and they freak out about it. So I'm not anti-vaccine, I'm pro-science. I don't want to take a rushed mRNA vaccine when they've never been on the market in some form. It's way different than a normal vaccine. And in general, I want to see the ingredients. Have you not ever seen a commercial on television that says, if you took this pill, this bad thing happened and you could sue? Like, that's the reality, and also everybody's body's different. So when Bill Gates is pushing this vaccine, he talks about indemnification. He talks about it all the time on CNBC. I need indemnification. We need to strike a deal with the government. Why do they need to strike a deal with the government? Because there's going to be side effects. That's just the reality of it. So they don't care how many they're going to be, to be quite honest, because they have indemnification. Once they get indemnification, if it's 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000, 1 in 1,000, whatever it is, maybe it's more, maybe it's less, they don't care because they're not liable for it. So they need liability removal in order to launch it because they know that some people are going to have side effects. So, it's not using the word anti-vaccine just feeds into their narrative. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm pro-science. They're anti-science. They're anti, logic and common sense. So I don't operate by the words that they use. Like if you're skeptical to get a rushed vaccine because you don't think coronavirus, you see the survival rates and the real data and you weigh out the pros and the cons, to me, the pros and the cons are wildly in favor of me not getting the vaccine. Am I anti-vaccine? No, there's a time and a place for a good vaccine, but how good are the vaccines? I watch how these people operate. I could not possibly trust the pharmacy industry less. They've given me nothing. The media, social media, the people who are really paying off schools and universities and how easy it is for them to manipulate data. They give you books like this to read that I actually read called How to Lie with Statistics. And then I read this book because Bill Gates told me to read it. And as soon as I read the book Bill Gates told me to read, if I repeat things in the book that he told me to read, now I'm a crazy person, even though they told me to think that way. I don't want it. So you get what I'm saying? It's not anti-vax. And someone said not all Republicans. I understand. Some Trump supporters want the vaccine. Some Trump supporters will be the first one in line. But what I'm specifically talking about, and it's not most people who watch my videos get what I'm saying. So if you get it, you're probably not mad I'm saying it because I'm not talking down to you like it's you. But if you're a Trump supporter and you get what I'm saying, you understand that there's a large population of Trump supporters who play this game. Trump's going to wipe my poopy butt. If Trump does a speedy vaccine, he's not going to use it against me because, he loves me and he doesn't want a mandatory vaccine. It doesn't matter if he loves you or not. And it doesn't matter if he wants a mandatory vaccine because he doesn't have the say when it comes out. Once it comes out, Trump doesn't run the medical industry. Trump doesn't run United Airlines. Trump doesn't run, Whole Foods. So they're going to start doing what they're already planning on doing, what they've planned on doing for years. And we've seen this coming for 3-4 years now, which is and this is part of the COVID-19 Great Reset as well, folks. And this is not a theory. This is just what's happening. So right now, digitally and literally, like multinational corporations run most parts of your life. If you want to fly from California to New York, you have to get on one of 3 or 4 airlines. If you don't have your own private jet or your own airlines, you can't fly unless you listen to their rules. If they make you wear a mask, you have to wear a mask. If they make you get a vaccine or have a certificate of a test, you have to get a test or a certificate. So this is how they're going to do it, folks. It's not going to be Trump wants it done or conservatives are fighting. Multinational corporations already control most of our country. And most events and stuff like that, they can go by their own rules. And in general, this year they've destroyed small businesses. This is not random, folks. This is like Amazon was already eating up small businesses. They were already destroying. Now, after 2 years of the lockdown for coronavirus, instead of 20 million small businesses, there's going to be 200,000 small businesses or 1 million. They're wiping out small businesses and they're taking that real estate as they're wiping everything out. And then people say, well, Bitcoin's going to save us. PayPal's buying all the new Bitcoin. So they're swallowing everything up purposely, whittling you down with these fake statistics and skewed numbers that point to things like, if you read this book, How to Lie with Statistics, just manipulating statistics to look scary when it needs to be or look good when it needs to be. Dark winter, you're free, this and that, running you around, psychologically abusing you. And then in 3 years, you're not going to own anything. And then whether Trump's there or not, and this is what I'm explaining, let's go on the theory that Trump pulls this off and Trump wins. Okay, Trump wins, he's president. He still is not going to be able to do anything about it unless he goes full savage. And I hope he does, but at a certain point, we're going to have to do that. So that's the point I've been trying to make all year. And I'm not saying a lot of Trump supporters will want to get the vaccine. A lot of Trump supporters won't, but a lot of them also don't want to get it, but they think that because Trump doesn't want to get them, it matters. It doesn't matter. They're destroying any sort of property that isn't owned by them. They're trying to own everything. And once they own everything, they can control it. This is essentially communism. And this is why we're supposed to be against communism. When the state controls the media, or when a few corporations collaborate with deep state or the state and control the media, which is what's happening now. When you have all these companies control media, transportation, all, communication, all this stuff, then they can turn off and on whenever they want. Oh, you don't want to get the vaccine certificate? You're off. It's like, people say communist Chinese social credit score. That's what it's going to be, testing and vaccination receipts. So that's how they're going to do it. This is always how they're going to do it. I'm not trying to fearmonger people, but it's like, I almost feel like people need a rude awakening. And I'm not saying in a mean way. I pray for your peace and safety. But if this was Biden or Hillary, everyone or most people would really understand this. But I feel like so many people are so invested in this idea that Trump's going to wipe their poopy butt that they need a rude awakening. It's like the amount of, every time I say this, there's multiple comments. Well, Trump doesn't want the mandatory vaccine. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Trump wants. Trump didn't want, the Steele dossier to turn into 3 years of investigation, but it did. Trump didn't want this, but like nothing, very few things that Trump actually wanted to happen actually happened. So he's doing what he can, but clearly it just doesn't matter what he wants to do. So if people are going to be so, lulled to sleep by a Trump presidency that they think that he's got this plan for them, it's not a good thing. This is only going to change when enough people stand up. It's already starting to happen in UK and Germany because they're even more screwed than we are in America. And all this is being done sneakily. So I'm going to say this and I'm going to start answering questions. When the shutdown happened, we should have been railing against this from day one, but there were months of distractions, and the elites, whether your guy's in office or they're not in office, because they control the media, because they control conservatives, because conservatives are so easy to control, you just give a theory and then they fight against it. So even though they're fighting against the Mueller report, they're still talking about it. Ukraine impeachment. You get what I'm saying? They know how to create an arena. You can be Republican, but just stay in here and argue. They know how to control both sides, even if your guy's in office. So as soon as it hit, people started railing against the lockdowns after a month or two. For a month, we gave Trump a pass. We gave him a pass. A lot of people gave Fauci a pass. They're waiting to see what happens. And then as soon as, Trump started to realize that it was bad, somehow he got fooled into closing it down again or something. So he shut it down in Easter. He showed you the chart. You remember that day he was supposed to open the economy up. We were all hoping for it. And then he kind of just said, no, you know what? I agree with lockdowns again. Let's shut down past Easter. And that was not great. So after that, people started gathering. Huntington Beach, you started having big gatherings. And then you had the George Floyd protests. And the George Floyd protests completely derailed the narrative for months. So it went from, we need to get out of this lockdown, black, white, Hispanic, liberal. If you want to go back to normal, this is your movement. Of course, it was mostly Trump supporters because unfortunately, it just seems like conservatives are the only ones that actually understand what's going on. Apparently no liberals can figure this out. It's just shocking to me. But then you have the George Floyd protests and the riots. So now every conservative talking about George Floyd. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. This is bad. We shouldn't have done that. That's bad. Riots, protests, months of distraction. And then after the George Floyd protests and riots, you had 2 months before the election. So it was like, anomaly, let's not talk about the lockdowns. Let's just get Trump in office and then he's going to solve it. And I'm like, he didn't solve it in April. He didn't solve it in May. What makes you think he's going to solve it in February of next year? And we don't have time to waste. So I'm not going to wait till the election. I like the president, but we don't have a week to wait. Every day, every week, every month. First of all, you're destroying small businesses. Second of all, they're waiting, and then they're like communists, like throwing you money. They're like, here's trillions of dollars of packages. It's like you get $1,200, your business gets a loan, and all our big business friends, they're exchanging the wealth. Every $1 trillion package is just a huge blow to America and a blow to the small people, even though they give you a little bit. That's communism. UBI, Andrew Yang, the plant, stay at home and we'll give you money. That's what it is. Just like a mouse trap, or like just like a carrot in front of your face that you're always, that's the whole scheme. It's like, we'll give you a little bit and then we'll take everything. This is what this whole shutdown's been doing. So then the narrative until the election was, just wait till after the election and then Trump's going to solve it. First of all, he's not going to solve it. Second of all, it doesn't matter. So now the election happens. Now, what's the new narrative? The new narrative is, well, anomaly, we got to win this election. It's going to drag out for months. It's going to drag out to December, January. If Trump wins, he can't do anything about the lockdowns. If Biden wins, He can't do anything about the lockdowns. Trump's not fighting Bill Gates. Trump's not fighting the vaccine stuff. He funded them. And I'm not saying, I think in his heart, he probably knows what's going on, but he doesn't seem capable of doing it, or he hasn't done it. And our job is not to watch our country. Like, how many millions of small businesses are never getting their stuff back? How much wealth has already been exchanged that it's going to take 200 years to even try to get into that gap, or 100 years? I mean, the damage that's already been done is more astronomical than anything that's been done in like 100 years to our economy. And people just want to wait it out. So there's always, the point I'm getting to is there's always going to be a scheme to make you just wait. There's always going to be, well, let's just wait for 2 months. Well, Trump's going to save me with the vaccine. He doesn't want it to be mandatory. It's like, we have to step up. If this is going to be like the mainstream thought on the right wing, you're getting played. You're going to lose. It's the same. I always bring this up because it's very similar. It's the same as last year. Very few people were able to identify that the right wing was passing anti-First Amendment legislation because they said, well, anomaly, Ilhan Omar is bad. I'm like, I don't like Ilhan Omar. You don't have to convince me her politics, her personality. I try to be a positive person, but there's not very much I like about Ilhan Omar. But the right wing used her as a smokescreen, being like, you hate Ilhan Omar, right? And you're like, yeah, she's an anti-Semite. So then they passed anti-Semitism legislation. It's like political theater. It's like, we're going to sell out the First Amendment, but you hate, Ilhan Omar, so you like it. And everybody fell for it. And that's when I realized, I was like, wow, as much as the right wing seems to be awake to a lot of stuff, like I can't possibly fathom a more brainwashed person than the left wing. They want lockdowns, they want quarantines, they want mask mandates. Like, they're so far indoctrinated, it's like frightening. But then the right just thinks, well, they're so bad, so we're so great. It's like, not really. You guys are so easy to fool also. Like, I watched you get fooled last year into selling out the most important amendment in the Constitution, and very few people noticed. And anyone who did notice got shut down by the gatekeepers of right-wing conservatism, and they did more fake conferences about how they're, fighting cancel culture. So I saw this all, and I feel like I'm watching that on loop now. And I'm just warning in a friendly, kind, non-threatening or frightening way of like, if this becomes the thing, you're going to get wiped out, economically, whether Trump or Biden wins. Because everybody, in a weird way, I think if Trump loses, everybody's going to understand this. Biden's going to have to deal with Antifa because they're psychotic and they're not going to stop. He's going to have to deal with the progressive left. They hate him. And he's going to have to deal with 100% of Trump supporters being pissed off rightfully after this 4 years. It's almost the uniting thing. I don't want Trump to lose, but if he loses, everyone's going to cry and say it's so bad. It's like, maybe that's the wake-up call you needed. I think he will win, but if he wins, we can't have 60 million people just like sitting there being like, man, any day now, it's going to happen. It's like, how many more businesses do you want to get wiped out? How many more rush vaccines and certificates are you going to need to figure out that he needs help? There needs to be more going on behind him. And the more I say this stuff and the more backlash I get, I'm like, wow, I had no idea that the right was this easy to deceive. It's like political theater in a sense. I want to say this too real quick, and then I'm going to get to questions. One of the biggest things that people say to me when I say this type of stuff, or I question like the trust the plan type people, they try to say I'm an agent, and they try to say I'm working for Mossad. If you don't know what Mossad is, it's Israeli intelligence. It's like the CIA, which is wild because I actually talk in the other direction a lot, where the moderates call me an anti-Semite or whatever, but which is not true. But in general, Trump is working with Mossad. Like the people that trust the plan, they think they're fighting Mossad in Israel, like in their secret head because QAnon told them or something. It's like Trump is bragging about working with Mossad. Like you see his Twitter, he's bragging about how Mossad just killed like an Iranian nuclear scientist. So it's like you're getting your theories mixed up. It's like they're like, I'm fighting human trafficking. It's like, okay, that's great. I'm with Trump. Trump's going to save the world. Okay, you're Mossad because you didn't disagree with me. It's like, no, you are. You're working with the guy who's working with Mossad, like bragging about a Mossad operation to kill a nuclear scientist. I mean, I'm just saying, get your theories straight. Like, you can't be doing both things at the same time. It doesn't make sense. So I feel like a lot of people are so deep into like Trump's going to wipe my poopy butt, they don't even know what they're talking about. Like I say the word Zionist and they freak out. They're like, anomaly, how dare you say that the right wing are Zionists? I'm like, they are Zionists. They all are like proud Zionists, like Pompeo, all. It's not a secret. You look up what the word Zionism means. Like, a lot of people are proud, open Zionists. I have, followers in Israel and stuff that watch my channel. So there's a debate to be had. I understand, but like people, they're so deep in this theory that Trump's gonna save their life, they don't even realize that who they think they're fighting, they're literally on the same team with, or the person that they like is literally working hand in hand with them. So it's like, it's just shocking how uneducated some people are and how emotional they get when you tell them that Trump's not going to wipe their poopy butt. It's like, he's not. He's doing his best. I support him. I don't throw the burden of the world on his back. Like it's easier for me to do what I'm doing. I'm not in the White House. I give him the benefit of the doubt because it's a business operation. I would not want to be where he is. So I give Trump the benefit of the doubt. But as a citizen, I stand up for myself. People, they think Trump's going to wipe their poopy butt for him. It's like he's doing what he can, but like this theory that he's Batman and he's going to like save you from the CDC, like it just does. It's, you have to save yourself. If 10 million of you stand up and say no, it's over. If 10 million of you just wait because Trump did it, then it's over. If Biden was there, you would not be waiting. You would not be strategizing. You would realize like, yo, we are the movement. So it seems kind of like a political theater game to get right wingers to just sit there. Cowboy Bear said, awesome. Brother in my congregation had awesome insight. He said, people are lazy and will only do something once they're starving. It's going to take that. Oh, no question. Thank you for the super chat, Cowboy Bear. And that's what this whole year was. Like, do you know how many people have called this for decades? People like Bill Cooper, David Icke, say what you want about them. They've talked about camps, quarantines, martial law style police state, and everybody thought they were crazy. So, even my videos are pretty mild compared to that type of stuff because I talk about maybe similar stuff, but I show people proof. Like, I make it so easy. I'm not just sitting here ranting all the time on the live streams I am, but I make it so easy in my videos that go viral. I show you they're bragging about population control. It's not a theory. They're bragging about it on like this. I make it so easy to understand, but people didn't want to believe it. So now this year happens. This year is a massive wake-up call. No question. It's a massive wake-up call to the world that, bad people are not just like poor. This is the funny thing about the word conspiracy theory that I always say. People, like, it's actually, in my opinion, anti-poor and anti-middle class to use the word conspiracy theory every time somebody talks about a wealthy person doing something bad. Like, do you think only, people in Detroit can rob people? Do you think only poor, white people or poor black people are the only ones who could commit a crime? Do you not think that a wealthy person could be a bad person too? So it's like, I think the whole theory of like, anytime you say that wealthy people besides Donald Trump are doing something bad, they say, oh, that's a conspiracy. It's like, are we supposed to believe only poor people do bad things or middle class? Like, of course there's wealthy people besides Trump who do, like, only Trump does bad things. Every other wealthy person's an angel. It's like, that is a stupid conspiracy theory. Like, that's a fake media conspiracy theory to make people think that can't happen. So people didn't want to believe this. This year's a wake-up call. And that's what I'm saying. Like your super chat said, I'm not worried either way because I find, to be honest, I find a Biden presidency very concerning. I don't need to tell you the 50 reasons that I find a Biden presidency concerning. It's concerning because I'll just go through a few. It's concerning because the media won't hold him accountable for anything. They'll protect him. You'll have all social media working hand in hand with him, the tech companies. It's, concerning for 1,000 reasons. I also find a Trump presidency concerning because I feel like Trump supporters do not pay attention when he's in office. And I think a lot of people on the right and people who support Trump are way more woke than the left wing, but I do find it very easy for them to trick you into selling out the First Amendment, into supporting big pharma. So I find that equally as shocking where, I see the pros and cons to both, where if Biden does win, I think, one, he might be so extreme that Republicans can just crush in 2022, because that seems to be like a historical trend. When the left gets crazy, then the right starts winning big. But also, like, everyone will be united. Everybody will understand that this is not right. And, lulling people to sleep is to me, is concerning as well. So, I'm not going to trip either way. I hope Trump wins, but at the same time, I'm not going to cry either way because, people need a wake up call. It's sad to say. I wish it wasn't true, but like, it does seem to be the case. Pancakes and Syrup said, say that out loud. Thank you so much. Tammy W said, my son is an American doing a gap year for college, and the liberals in his group are out of control. They wear masks outside hiking, but he doesn't. This is a crazy time, folks. I mean, the liberals are like slave masters. They want you to wear a mask. They want to close down your business. They call you a white supremacist if you want to literally like breathe air and open up your business, even if you're black. They can't do anything for me. I think people need to realize how bad they are. There's never been a left wing this similar. This is like they're literally straight up communists. They're authoritarian, fascistic communists. And I'm not like exaggerating. Oh, no, they want to shut your business down while Amazon grows. They want you to do rules that none of the Democrat elites do. All these doctors are like, don't say that. And then they're on a boat with 20 women and get caught. They don't believe their own rules. It's like, you're the slave, I'm the big guy. Our business grows, your business dies. What else do you call that? These people are like literally psychos. So that's why when I talk to the right, it's not in a mean way. It's like, listen, you guys are the last hope, okay? Clearly, any liberal that can save the country does not consider themselves a liberal anymore. I got a message yesterday. She said, anomaly, not all liberals think like that. I'm like, there's got to be a wake-up call in the liberal movement. Like, I said this as a joke, but it's like, don't you want to go to Coachella? Don't you want to take selfies at Coachella? How are you going to take selfies at Coachella if Democrats never let you go to a festival again? Is that the way to wake up the left wing? Like, oh, that's true. I do want to take selfies of my body so I can post them on Instagram so I could get likes on them. It's like, is that what it's going to take to wake the left wing up? Like, at a certain point, they're going to have to get it, or they're just going to be like slaves the rest of their life. Once you get to that point, you're not a liberal anymore. Like, it's time to run away from these people. So I can imagine there's got to be some conversations in that group, but for all extensive purposes, conservatives are going to be the ones who save this country. So I need conservatives to be awake. If conservatives are sleeping because they think Trump's going to wipe their poopy butt for them, then we're done. The reason I go harder on conservatives is because you are all we have. Liberals are not doing very much right now. Hopefully that could change, but for all extensive purposes, they're brainwashed beyond repair. So, I go hard on right wingers because, like, if you guys can't figure out that Trump's not going to stop the mandatory vaccine and you're pro big pharma because you don't want to cope with the fact that Trump's funding, companies that you think he's fighting. I'm going to say this. I'm going to read the super chats. It's not even like people make up a theory that makes any sense. Like, you could trace Operation Warp Speed and see who he's funding. If you're pro these companies, that's fine. I'm not going to knock you for it. But people think he's Like, I got in arguments with really smart people, and they're like, no, Trump is funding other companies to fight Bill Gates's companies. Like, no, he's not. You could trace exactly who he's funding. So it's like very smart people get very stupid over their obsession with Trump. I like Trump more than most people, but I'm not going to make up something that's not true. Like, he's secretly fighting Bill Gates by giving his company $1 billion or $2 billion that he has a huge stake in. He's not fighting any. You think that's fighting? It's like, just come to grips with reality, and then we'll figure out what to do. But if you can't accept what's happening, then we need a wake up call. Driving While Black said, that's a funny name. Free thinkers don't fall in line with the left or right paradigm. People need to choose the side of truth, not mob over one another. I get that. God bless you. Someone said AmeriCorp, not American. Have I read The Contagion Myth? I have not, Logan. I'll look into it. Monica, thank you so much. All right, let's see. Rusty says, hello. What's up, Rusty? I saw that comment. God bless you, brother. Thanks for being here. Someone said Trump is a slightly slower version of what Biden brings. I mean, it's a tough reality to kind of grasp to, but it feels like the left wing is like communism at 100 miles an hour, and Trump and the Republicans are like communism at 20 miles an hour. Trump is the only Republican with an ounce of like, okay, if anybody is going to be able to fight back, it's going to be him, no question. But the Republican Party is a slow ride to communism. I think a lot of really edgy conversations they're not willing to have, and they're not ready to fight any of this stuff. They don't seem like they're up for it. Maybe Rand Paul and Thomas Massey even have an inkling of what's going on. And Thomas Massey, Trump said to kick him out of the Republican Party. He was the only Republican that stood up against the $1 trillion wealth bill. And he said, not only is this the biggest transfer of wealth ever in modern history, the biggest, most expensive bill in American human history, but it was voted in the dark. They used coronavirus as an excuse to not even show up to work, as they call you an essential worker and make you go to work. They're not showing up to work. So Thomas Massey was saying, not only is this the biggest bill in modern history, but we don't even know who voted yes or no. This is anti-constitutional. He was right. And Trump said, kick him out of the Republican Party. To me, this seems like political theater. I like the president, but Thomas Massey's one of the only good guys. He's one of the only ones ready to stand up to Big Pharma. And you have the president of the United States rushing vaccines and telling the one good Republican to leave the party. Like this, am I supposed to not see this or something? Because I like the president. It's too late. I see it. Jess says, doesn't matter who's president. It's about the politicians in each state. They are the real problem. I hear you. Cosmic Squirrel said, what do you think about Kissinger and Albright getting fired? That's great news. I mean, Trump is absolutely, I think he has some sort of a plan, or he's, if it's going to be 4 years and 3 months or just 3 months, he hopefully just goes all out. So yeah, he's firing some of the bad eggs. I feel like he knows that the military is on his side. So to me, Trump is planning something with the military. I don't know what. Maybe it's removal of the troops of Afghanistan. Maybe it's more. But Trump is doing what he needs to do. It's not easy to be the president of the United States. You don't just get into office and do what Trump. There's some sacrifices you have to make. So I give him the benefit of the doubt in some ways where I wouldn't most people. But there's a game he's playing for sure. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. But my job as an American citizen is not to, agree with things that don't make sense. That's for him and his business people to decide. So he's definitely planning something. We'll see what it is. Someone said, where is Tom Hanks? Probably hiding on an island somewhere, getting his PR team to figure out what to do about all the comments of people screaming at him all the time. Someone said, I would never, ever hire your ass. I don't know. I don't know what you would hire me for. I'm not really for sale, but thanks for your comment. Someone said he could use the Space Force to look at digital corruption. I mean, maybe, but at a certain point, like when none of these theories come true, are people going to come back down to reality and realize that we have to do something ourselves or not? Like there's a bunch of digital agencies. Like you think he made the Space Force so he could use the Space Force to look at digital corruption. I mean, maybe. I'm not gonna rule anything out, but it's like I feel like people spend a lot of time trying to figure out in their head why things are going on, and then when nothing happens, they just wasted a year just kind of like hoping that someone else is going to do it for them. Is Space Force going to save the election? I mean, probably not, but we could all hope, I guess. To me, I'm just not interested in these theories anymore. If it happens, it happens. But I feel like people spend way more time hoping than they do actually coming to terms with reality. Like, I don't know, but we'll see. Someone said Elon's going to hook him up. I mean, it's going to be a crazy two months. I'm not going to rule anything out, but me personally, I'm not going to let a million small businesses die because I think that Space Force and Elon Musk are going to save Trump. It's like after 9 months, you have nothing to show for it. And instead of, being part of the movement to try to stop this from happening, it's like you were like celebrating in the corner because you thought Space Force was going to save you. I'm not interested in it. I think if Biden was president or Hillary was president, 100% of Trump supporters would be 100% focused. Almost every Trump supporter, not all, but most, would be laser focused. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. We will not stand for it. Instead, it's excuse, theory, Space Force, secret plan. To me, and this goes for everything. I'm not above it, but like I think people need a rude awakening. So I think God will probably give people a rude awakening. I think this whole year was a rude awakening, and none of us are above it. But because so many Trump supporters are like incapable of even fathoming the fact that they have to do something, I think that he's probably going to give people a rude awakening because it's like necessary. Sometimes those happen in your life and in my life as a growth period and a way for us to like face something we didn't want to face. And I think, unfortunately, I think that's what the country needs. I wish I saw when I looked out to the Trump movement, I wish I saw laser focus. I wish I saw people taking this very seriously, but I feel like over half the people that want to comment are not taking this seriously at all because they're waiting for Trump to wipe their poopy butt. So I just see a rude awakening coming one way or another. C. Farina, thank you so much. God bless you. That was very kind. Thank you. Someone said complacency and comfort. Yeah, I don't like it. I really don't. I don't want people to freak out. I want people to be happy, prepared, enjoy their Christmas. I'm not trying to scare people, but I really just don't like the whole vibe of like, oh man, the Kraken's coming. Like Sidney Powell's going to do what she can do, but like she can't wipe your poopy butt. She can maybe overturn the election if she's really, courageous and she's trying, but like Sidney Powell can't wipe your poopy butt. She's laser focused on one or two things: corruption. This, like she's not suing the CDC. She's not stopping the mandatory vaccine. Like she's not going to wipe your poopy butt. She's going to do her job. Trump's going to do their job. Maybe they'll pull it off. Maybe they won't. If you have laser focus on Sidney Powell and Trump pulling this off, I'm not going to knock you for that. I'm not trying to take people's faith away. But when your whole game is like 100% faith that Sidney Powell's going to wipe my poopy butt, and it's like 0% embracing what's going on and realizing that even if she does wipe your poopy butt, that there's like a lot of other problems going on, I just find it shocking. I'm like, people need a rude awakening. I wish it wasn't the truth, but it's like, it's shocking. Lori said, listen, she can do more than you think. She is a military attorney. Lori, God bless you, but that's how I feel. It's like, she's a military attorney, so she can wipe my poopy butt. Like, I know she's a military attorney. I'm not sitting here saying Sidney Powell can't do anything. She could, at best, the best thing that Sidney Powell's trying to do, she can overturn the election and she can hold all of these Obama people accountable. That's what if she does that, she deserves a statue. Okay. That would be single-handedly one of the biggest feats for a lawyer in modern American history. I'm not knocking what she can do, but she's not going to wipe your poopy butt. She's not fighting mandatory vaccines. She's not fighting lockdowns. She can't do it. It's so selfish. It's not loyal. People think it's loyal. I'm loyal. I think she could do it. It's selfish. It's like she's going to wipe my butt. She's a military lawyer, so she's going to wipe my poopy butt. She's going to say, it's like she's doing two specific things. There's 100 things hurting the country right now that she's not even trying to do because she doesn't have the time. And she's focused on things that are important to her. People need help, folks. It's like people are so selfish. People are so cowardly. I'm not knocking you, but it's like Sidney Powell's working really hard. Trump's working really hard. Lynn Wood's working really hard. Rudy Giuliani's working really hard. Ali's working really hard. Even Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes, say what you want about them, they're working really hard. A lot of people are just sitting around waiting for them to wipe their poopy butts. It's like we need a million Sidney Powells, not one. You like Sidney Powell's going to wipe my poopy butt. It's like, no, she's not stopping mandatory vaccines. She's not stopping lockdowns. She's not even trying to do anything about this year. You're like making this alternate. Well, she's a military lawyer. So what? So at best, I just told you what she's going to do. Overturn the election and hold Obama people accountable, in which she deserves a Nobel Prize and a statue for. But that's not what's going on here. You're watching the transfer of wealth that Trump was behind, Republicans were behind. They're all in on it. They've done it for 8 months. They've destroyed tens of millions of businesses. They have no plan for the multinational corporations. And Trump supporters think that Sidney Powell is going to wipe their poopy butt. I hate to say it, folks, but you need a rude awakening. You're not going to realize that Sidney Powell is not going to wipe your poopy butt until something happens. And then what are you going to do? Have theories for the next 20 years and just sit there? It's like there needs to be a rude awakening. It's like it's shocking how many people just think that they could do everything for you. I just told you what she's trying to do. She's not trying to do everything under the sun. Someone said, I bought a bidet, so now I don't have to wipe. Bigot, LOL. That'll help. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm like blown away by how complacent right-wingers have been all year. And I don't say this for any other anomalies and agent. No, you don't. In March, I called this all before, and I'm not saying it to brag. I'm just saying the backlash I got was from right-wingers who thought, anomaly, Durham's going to save me. Anomaly, these lockdowns are good. Anomaly, they're doing it to the Vatican because they're arresting all the pedophiles in Italy. That's why they locked down Italy. That's not why they locked down Italy. That's a lie. That's literally not why they locked down Italy. But that's what all these people are saying. Anomaly, you must be a deep state agent. Who's paying you? Who's paying you to say the lockdowns are bad? You're trying to overturn the lockdowns because the lockdowns are a secret good Trump plan to arrest Podesta on Easter. Like, these are messages I'm getting. I'm like, are you guys really that brainwashed on the right wing? Like, Sidney Powell's going to do work. I hope she gets it done. But you've let tens of millions of businesses get obliterated while you attacked people like me who tried to not get them obliterated because you thought Bill Barr was Batman who was going to swoop in your window to wipe your poopy butt. And it's really embarrassing. It's like a libertarian conservative who can't even conserve the Constitution or their country because they think Bill Barr is going to wipe their poopy butt because they like Trump a lot. It's like pathetic. I'm like blown away by this stuff. And then they say Mossad all the time. Like they just like watch one YouTube video on Mossad. Trump works with Israel. Trump brags about Mossad on his Twitter today. You're not fighting Mossad while you're on the side of Trump. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. You're like, everyone who doesn't agree with me is Mossad. While the president that you obsess over and thinks going to wipe your poopy butt is retweeting, bragging about Assad killing someone from Iran. Like, you got your theories mixed up. I don't know what to tell you. Oh my goodness. Someone said take a drink. You're totally right. It's not alcohol. It's just. All right, I'm going to read this real quick, and then I'll read some on Facebook. And Angel for True said the Rude Awakening versus the Great Awakening. Both sides need to wake up. Both sides are the beast system. Read your Bibles. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But thank you for the super chat. But there's a lot of deception going on. Speaking of the Bible, I found a really good verse the other day. I'm going to try to find it. I put it on Twitter. Someone shout out to somebody on YouTube because I didn't actually come up with this myself. They posted it on YouTube and it's totally true. It says Isaiah 5:20. It says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." Upside down world and evil, so basically, it was written the upside down world. It's like, this is, woe to them who think good is evil, evil is good, up is down, down is up. It's a great verse, but also in Revelation, it's like, there's a plan for a one world government. We could do it. We can. I'm not calling it a day on America or anything, but, I think people are kind of, mixing scripture with like Trump. And I like Trump, don't get me wrong, but I think they think that he's going to like be Jesus Christ and save them. But there's a chance that, this is not that moment, that it's going to come at a later time when they successfully, do their one world government. But I'm not just going to lay down and allow that to happen. But at the same time, I don't know. I see like the amount of like complacency, I guess you could say. Someone said China attacked the world. I mean, I'll say this, and then I'm going to read more comments. Thank you guys for being here. But this is the political theater, in my opinion, that is the reason we never get anything done. So the left wing and the right wing, they both, like, the left wing lies, the right wing gives you the half truth, and they get pissed off when you actually try to get to the core of it most of the time. So the left wing is saying, don't question China. It's racist. This came from a pangolin or a bat or something. It reminds me of the South Park episode. It's so funny. But, this came from a bat. Don't disagree with it. You're a terrible person. Don't blame China. So that's what the left wing says. Obviously, that they're full of it, always. Then you get to the right wing, and what does Trump say? China, the China virus. And all the right wingers think they're so edgy, saying China virus, China virus, China virus. I get it. I don't disagree. But, okay, the virus came from China. What about who? You know what nobody's talking about? It's not being covered. The fact that it wasn't just China. It wasn't just the communist Chinese government. It was our biggest health experts working hand in hand with the Chinese government, just so happened to be working. And this is a fact. I mean, you could take from it what you will. People like Dr. Fauci were funding a lab in Wuhan. And what they were doing there was manipulating back coronaviruses with gain of or gain in function. I forget which one it is, which manipulates back coronaviruses that can't get into humans, manipulating it, allowing them to get into humans. Very dangerous stuff, because if it gets released, it could infect humans. And multiple experts told them not to do it. So to me, that's the big story, but no one's talking about it. So this is the political theater. Don't talk about China, and then nobody gets to the core of it. So you get screwed every time. It's like, yeah, it's China. No, it's your own people. The mainstream media does more damage to you than China ever could. Okay, CNN, MSNBC, Facebook, Twitter, Google. It's not just China. China is a huge problem. Communist China is a huge problem for America, but it's your own people. It's people within, it's the pharmacy industry that Trump gives $10 billion to. It's the CDC that works here and the World Health Organization that works with Facebook. So it's like scapegoating China for this whole thing is a way to get you to never get to the bottom of what really happened. And you're not allowed to even say it or they'll kick you off Facebook. And Trump's not saying it. Tucker actually has said it. He's done a few things on it, but very few conservatives even go there. So that's a perfect example of like left wing is communism at 100 miles an hour. Conservatism in the moderate stage is like communism at 20 miles an hour. You could say China, but you don't go the full way, or they're not going to go the full way. So it's like it's all just theater to me, and that's why I'm not that concerned. Like people don't see this, and I get why, because it's like a whole like spectacle, but it's like I'm not really tripping either way because nobody seems to even feel like having a plan to get rid of this stuff. Trump is clearly the only person that's even remotely hinting going the full distance, and that's why everyone loves him. And I get it, and I appreciate what he's done. I just don't think he's going to wipe my poopy butt. I don't. I think he's done enough. Even if it doesn't work out. He's done more than his fair share as a human being in America. He's done more than 20 million people combined. Like it's like winning 20 championships. Like I don't expect him to win 50,000 championships. It's like the dude, he did a lot. Some things he did do, some things he didn't do. He gets the pass to me. He did enough. I'm not going to wait for him to go the full distance. Someone said, who got to you? Daphne said, who got to you? I've been saying this since March. I literally, do I have to read I'm going to read my tweet. This is before the lockdown. I've said this all year, and this is all people want to say to me. Obviously, a lot of people here get it. Who got to you? Who paid you? No one. I've said this since March, and people that are brainwashed by Trump can't figure it out. And I like Trump. I'm not an anti-Trump person. I'm just saying, like, people are so obsessed with Trump. They're becoming to get like liberal, like left is right is left. I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I thought before because Trump did it. It's like, it's getting weird. This is my tweet from March 14th. This is 5 days before the shutdown. I said, they're going to use this to push medical tyranny, mandated vaccines, government mandated lockdowns, authoritarian power grabs, even bigger speech censorship. Life will never be the same. And Trump doesn't have a magic plan to save you till the end of time. I said that 5 days before the lockdown. So who got to me? I've been saying this the whole time. It's just when I say Trump, I love Trump, everyone wants to hear it. When I say, hey, I like Trump, but I don't agree with this, everyone freaks out and says, who paid you? Who paid you to say that? No, literally no one. I lose money when I say this stuff. I lose money. I lose support. It's not popular to say. It's not good for the wallet, folks. This is just the truth. This is what I've been saying since March. No one got to me. I'm just saying, it's like you live in this world where Trump is going to do everything. And that's why nothing's got done. You've really betrayed America. You've let them sell out the First Amendment. That's anti-America. That's betraying your own country. You let them shut down small businesses for 8 months, and instead of adding to the movement that we have, you're trying to take away from it and act like I'm paid off because I don't have 5 months to wait for for governors to destroy the city. We don't have any time. Trump's doing what he can, but you need to do something. You don't have to go out in the streets and stuff, but it's like all this energy going towards waiting and Sidney Powell, you're just like professional waiters. That's what the movement is to me. It's like professional waiters. You're good at waiting, not waiting tables, just waiting for other people to do stuff for you. My job is to sit here online and lash out at anybody who actually wants to do something because I'm a professional truster. I just trust that things that are coming and I wait. It's like that. In what way is that going to help our country? Danny Flower said, look into Charles Lieber. What's up, Danny? Why he was arrested at the Logan airport with 2 Chinese nationals that lied about and had biological materials. He was a nanoscientist who received money from Wuhan. Yeah, between the Charles Lieber story, I've covered it. Between the Charles Lieber story and the Dr. Fauci story, these are bombshells that no one's covering. So I'm not trying to be mean to people, but it's like that's where they have us caught. It's like left wing, you don't talk about China. Right wing, you only talk about China. It's multinational. It's not even just China. And I'm not covering for China. China has a huge role in it, but nobody hurts our country more than our own country. China can't even fathom of doing what our own people have done. Our own people have sold us out, and no one seems to talk about it. Nicholas said liberals are smooth brains. Most conservatives have half a mind, and people with brains are left helpless by the control of democracy. All right, well, Nicholas, I appreciate the super chat, and hopefully you feel at home here. Hopefully it sounds like you like what I'm saying. So hopefully this is a sane place that we can congregate and not fall victim to that. Thank you, Tracy. I agree with it. Gregory said we are expendable. And that, like, on a big scale, when you're in charge of 350 million people, you're dealing with agencies, the CDC. Trump is in business meetings all the time. It's not an easy thing to do what he's doing. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. But we, the people, for sure, we're expendable. Okay, in war, I mean, they make sacrifices. That's what a war is. Like, it's not to say you're expendable. It's very brave. But these are the decisions that politicians make. Like, do we go to war? Do we do this? Do we shut this down? So you have to save yourself. If you're at war, you're on the front lines wherever you are, your job is to fight, but also to, win and protect yourself. So as a citizen, when the elites are at war, they look at us like pawns. That's just how they look at us. And it's like, you're an essential worker and you're not. So now they're deciding you're an essential worker, but you're not. So you stay, your business dies. We're definitely expendable to them. And Trump hasn't really done anything about it. I'm not blaming him, but it's like I have no more tolerance for people that just want to. Normally, what happened to you? What happened to you? That's the question. Not what happened to me. What happened to you that you sold out your own country for 8 months and you were more concerned about waiting for Durham and Barr and Sidney Powell than you were for saving a small business or congregating and getting together and saying, whether it's Trump, whether it's Fauci, whether it's Biden, whether it's Hillary, whether it's Gates, whether it's CNN, we are not closing. There's no movement for that. There is, but there's a bigger movement for waiting. The biggest movement in the country from March until June was waiting. And all my friends who went liberal to conservative, they went right to the Q stuff, to wait. We're just waiting. And it's like, yeah, human trafficking is real. Yes, the elites are bad. Like, there's overlap where I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but then it's like, this is all real, so Bill Barr is going to save you. And then everyone's just sitting and waiting. It's like a psyop to just get people to just sit there while their country gets destroyed. How do you take out conservatives and libertarians? Just dangle a carrot in front of their face. It's like dangling a carrot and you're always just so close, and it's like 8 months. And then I say something and you're like, anomaly, who got to you? Who got to you? We're almost there. You've said that for 8 months and your country's been destroyed. It's a communist country now. And even Sidney Powell doesn't have a plan for it. Her plan is for the election and potentially for deep state people. That's it. Her plan, even in her own plan, she's not claiming to do any of this stuff. And even the stuff she does, like when she says she's got 2 million votes or something, look at her lawsuit. Just read her lawsuit, okay? She has a lawsuit, but some of the stuff's in there, some of it's not. And she might file a new one, but it's like someone said we were always against the lockdowns. That's not true. You might have been, but I have receipts, folks, and I'm not trying to bring it up, but it's like, that's great. I was against the lockdowns. You were against the lockdowns. Some people weren't. I'm not saying you weren't, but there were millions of people that were literally pro-lockdown for months because they thought that Trump did it secretly. Because this is the difference between like liking the president and becoming brainwashed. Like, becoming brainwashed is no matter what happens, you can't fathom that it might not be a Trump move. So like for me, it's like, okay, this isn't a Trump move, but he'll do something else. For you, it's like, this has to be a Trump move. Everything's a Trump move. So like the lockdowns have to be good. Millions of people believe that. Thousands of people bugged out at me, freaked out at Twitter, cried, messaged me on Instagram. I got it all. So you might have not felt that way, but millions of people did because they can't cope with like, okay, it's a chess game. In a game of chess, have you ever played chess or checkers? You don't always just win immediately. You don't take out all their pieces. That never happens. In a game of checkers, they jump some of your pieces, you jump some of their pieces, and at the end of the game, you win or lose. It's not like you just wipe the board off and you win unanimously. So who told you that it works this way? I can't even fathom where you're coming from. It's like, anomaly, you think every single thing is a win, where it's like you can't even understand in war, you don't win every battle. In chess, you don't win every piece. This is how every game ever works. So only in people's heads, maybe not yours, but some people, they think every move has to be a Trump move. So instead of embracing if you played chess and you didn't realize what the other team was doing, you'd lose every game. If you went in a battle, read The Art of War. It's not like, oh, we win every single. No, you have to understand about weather and conditions and patterns and strategies. That's what war is. It's not like we win every single time, and anytime we don't win, I'm going to turn it into a win. Then you lose. That's what I'm saying. That's why you lose. That's why Trump supporters are going to lose if they don't wake up from this. It's not Trump's fault. It's your fault, or whoever told you to think this way. You get what I'm saying? You can win. Sidney Powell, Trump, you can win. But if you think this way, you're going to lose. It's like getting into a basketball game and thinking you won before you even start. That's how you lose. On a chessboard, not paying attention to the other pieces and hallucinating that every move is a secret move for you, you lose. In a battle where you don't think about this stuff and every move you have to like hallucinate, you lose. This is a losing strategy. This is why I'm so stubborn about telling people this. That's how you lose. I don't want you to lose. I don't want to lose the country. I don't want to lose any of it. I don't want to lose freedom. I don't want any of this stuff. But I'm not saying you specifically. But the amount of people in the Trump party that feel that way is bigger than you think. And if you don't see it, you're not being honest to yourself. And to be quite fair, the people who know that this is happening, they don't get mad when I say it. The people that know that this is happening are so grateful that somebody on the Trump side is saying this. So I'm not saying you, and because I don't even remember who said it, but the only people seem to get mad at me are the people who actually do that. I find that shocking. It's like, it's not all of us. The people, like, even when I talk about the Q stuff, the Q people who know that it's not all of them, they actually like it. They'll message me. They're like, bro, I like that stuff, but you're totally right. That's super funny and it's super true. It's not me, but I do see that. Like, it's never the person who I'm not talking about who gets mad. It always seems to be the person, exactly that type of person. Like, it's not all of us. I know it's not all of us, but the ones who it isn't never seem to get upset by it. They love it. The ones who it is, they seem to get the most flustered. Like, I'm not that. Like, maybe you're not, but maybe you are, because the people who aren't, they're like, super pumped. They're like, dude, someone needs to say this stuff. I like Trump, but from day one, I'm like, this Operation Warp Speed, I'm like, I don't know about this. This is going to be used against us. But it's like, people can't, no, it's going to fight the gates. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, he's exposing Fauci. He's not exposing Fauci. He's putting him on television, giving him authority to basically shut down the country past Easter. If that's exposing to you, it's like, you could expose Hillary Clinton by letting her run the country for 4 years. We're exposing her. You're not just exposing her, you're giving her power. So it's like, people, the amount of messages I got, like, anomaly, Trump's exposing Fauci. He gave Fauci power. He listened to Fauci, and our country got shut down. So it's not like he just put them on TV, exposed them, and they did something about it. He put them on TV, gave them power, listened to him, did it, and Fauci's completely fine. Nothing's happening to him. It's like, people can't come to grips with what's happening. Once again, it's a chess game. You don't win every move. They take a pawn. You take a pawn. They take a bishop. You take a rook. You don't just wipe the board out and win every game. If you think that way, you're going to lose. That's how you lose. That's literally like the mindset that gets blown out of the water in chess, because you don't just think about your moves. You have to think about their moves. If you're the chess player who doesn't plan based on what they're doing, you lose every time. Like, there are people like that are so egotistical that they don't think in that way. So they lose. That's how you lose. If you want to win, you have to understand, well, it's a war. They won that battle. I'm going to win this battle. I'm going to let them win two battles. You get what I'm saying? I understand why people have faith. That's great. But it's like, I don't know, the hallucinating things that are not real just to try to come to grips with it. It's like, no, this is really happening to our country. No, nothing happened to Fauci. Even if something happened to Fauci in a year, which probably nothing will, he still did what he did. Like, do you not care about 20 million businesses? Do you not care about 8 months of wealth extraction? Like, I do. Even if he gets held accountable in 3 years, it's too late. And he probably won't. But it's like, people are willing to sacrifice the American people. And once again, I'm not saying you, but I very rarely get frustrated. Probably the first time I got full blown upset was during March and April, when I was actually saying, hey, a lot of people are losing a lot of stuff. And I was trying to send out the message to conservatives. I was like, listen, we can't wait for the government. We have to help families and stuff, because this is crazy. Like, our country's being attacked. The amount of messages I got saying, anomaly, you're an agent, who paid you to say this? We're just sacrificing these people. This is a sacrifice we need to take down Podesta. Like, this is real messages I was getting from real people. Like, literally thinking you're expendable, just like the government. They're like, who cares about these millions of families? They're going to get blown out of the water and lose everything, but that's okay because in the end, Trump has this plan to arrest people. They thought it was happening in April, then May, then June, then July, then August before the election. They had all the fake theories. And they're willing to just throw you to the side just to try to achieve something in their head that they're not even sure is real. Like, it's not even like a real equation. Like, we give up this and we get this. It's like, I'll throw everything out of the water and hopefully one day someone else does something for me. Like, this blew me away since March, but all right. Someone said, starting to seem like he's in on the play. The people in charge have a way of getting what they want either way. So I think, there's two options. Trump's in on it or he's not. But even if he's not, they have a way of using him to do certain things. You get what I'm saying? They'll surround him and force him to do certain moves, probably just to get certain results. So that's my main message. I'm going to move on and answer another question. It's not our job to wait. It's not our job to watch the Constitution that's not our job. The Supreme Court will do their job. Hopefully Trump will do their job. But the amount of waiting on the Trump side, aren't you starting to feel like if Biden won, that every Trump supporter would finally get it? Where if Trump wins, 80, 70, 50% are just coasting, waiting, thinking, it's like, I don't have time to wait anymore. Like, this is all going to happen next year. I'm planning on never being able to fly again. I hate flying, but I like to be able to see people and travel. I'm fully expecting not to be able to do that. I'm not a downer. It's just like, this is what's going to happen. I already see it. It's like, it's going to how many people are going to stand up against it? We'll find out, but we'll see. Let's see. Someone said, I'm done hoping that things will turn out right. What's the plan? Well, I think the plan has to be like with the lockdown stuff, it's got to be on an individual basis. Like, I can't do everything, but I can do a little bit. You can't do everything, but you can do a little bit. For instance, I'm not going to say where, but I went somewhere yesterday and they were open. They were open indoors. I'm not going to say where, but they were running their business. And I talked to the person there and he said, listen, we're losing so much money. We're just going to, we're going to stay open and hopefully nothing happens. And most likely nothing will happen. If something does happen and they get a fine, probably the fine will be cheaper than losing their business. So it's like, it's going to take brave business owners, thousands of them, tens of thousands of them, hundreds of thousands of them. It's going to take the people standing up, truckers, farmers. I heard they were on strike and they want to strike if Biden wins. They should strike if Trump wins. Show Trump or Biden. We're not going to do it either way. We don't care who it is. Strike now. Why not? I'm not in charge of the truckers, but I don't like that they're waiting for Biden. It's like, just do it now. Just send the message, that we don't care what happens. So I think it's going to have to be on an individual basis. And that's the thing I'm trying to make, because I don't want to overwhelm people. I get emails and I say, Anomaly, what can I do? I'm trying to do. If you're even thinking that way, that's enough. I'm talking to the Trump supporters, the millions of them, perhaps more, that they don't want to do that for some reason. Like they think that Trump's going to do it one day. So they're just waiting. To me, it's like energy. It's like, we have the energy, we have the movement. How do we use it? It's like, you ever see like Dragon Ball Z, like a Kamehameha? Once there's 20 million people that stand up, it's over. But if 10 million of those people are like, we'll just wait for Sidney Powell, or, then it's, so we can't do everything under the sun. But business owners, people that like, I've done everything that I can. I mean, I'll tell you what I've done. I make videos and stuff. So obviously all year I've been busting my ass trying to explain to people how they're counting cases, how they're counting deaths. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I really haven't seen that many conservatives do good reporting on this. Like, actually, I always compliment Elon Musk because he seems, even though he's Elon Musk, he seems to do more than most conservatives. I've made videos on it, but then I also got my mask exemption. So now, I have an exemption from a mask. I try to support businesses that are not listening. Anybody that doesn't listen, I try to support them. I've gone to physical protests and I've talked to individual restaurants. And I mean, I can't do everything, but I've done for one person, I've done quite a lot for my personal self to get a mask exemption. And then also, to places in my community that I can. I've made exposedlockdowns.com, but it's really just even a conversation, going to support a business that stays open, trying to find in your community the rebel businesses, support them, trying to help more businesses stay open, like little stuff like that. I just feel like it's not like LA. I don't know why they're listening. Like businesses are just listening. It's like whether they're Trump supporters or they're liberals, it's like no one's wiping your poopy butt. Like either you step up. Ian Smith did it. Bradley Martin did it. A lot of business owners did it. It's not easy, but it's honestly easier than losing your business. So, I don't have all the answers, but I think the first step would be not waiting. And the second step would be, in some form, no matter how small, trying to get things open. I don't know all the answers, but I know that the amount of weight is not ideal. Bethany said, I've never run across your channel before. I've been astonished that isn't obviously really biblical, not a football game. This is not for children. Well, thank you for the super chat. I'm kind of confused what you meant, but someone said, how did I get a mask exemption? I would Google it or try to, basically through a doctor, just a doctor that understands what's going on and, will see you and give an appraisal. Someone said, dude, you have a huge platform, get people together. I've got people together. I've done stuff, but I can't save the whole country by myself. It's Trump can't. When I say this stuff about Trump, I'm not knocking him. I'm just being realistic. Like he's one person. You can't wait for me to save the whole country. You can't wait for Trump to save the whole country. I mean, I'm doing what I can. I've done probably more than most people in my city, in my area, to do what I can. I could break my back, try to kill myself over, getting the whole country open. I've done enough. I've gotten 100 million views on videos about the lockdown. I've made a website for it. I printed out packets. I've talked to local businesses. I've supported local businesses who stayed open. I'm talking to the mayor, trying to get a meeting with the mayor to fully open indoors. I'm doing everything you could possibly do. I mean, yeah, I could do, protests around the country or stuff, but stop waiting for me to do it. Just like Trump, I'm trying, but I can't do it alone. And that's the message that I'm trying to get to. It's like, don't wait for Trump. Don't wait for me. And I'm not, you can't do it either on your own, but it's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, where do you want me to go? I've been to protests, hundreds of people, we protested the curfew, but now it's got to get financial. Now you have to, I went to a business open indoors yesterday, gave them $40 worth of tips. I gave them more money than probably anyone there and then bought their products. And I'll keep doing that. So it's like, I don't have the swing of 200 million people, but if everybody does a little bit, that's all it is. Someone said Trump rally in Georgia. Yeah, he's doing rallies again. Someone said, good for you, leftist virtue signaling now. I'm not virtue signaling. You're hitting me with both sides. Some people are saying you're not doing enough, get people together. And then I say what I'm doing. And then you say I'm virtue signaling. I'm trying to tell you what you could do to help. People want to know how you get a mask exemption. I told people, someone told me, I don't know where you live or how to, who to talk to, but in your community, if you want a mask exemption, just Google it and try to figure it out. There's websites and people, I don't know where you live. I can't help everybody locally, but if you attack me and say I'm not doing enough, and then I tell you what I'm doing, and then I'm virtue signaling. I mean, it is what it is. Someone said we have to protest. I mean, it's got to come from more people. It's not even just a protest. Protests are good, but like a financial protest. If you're a business owner, the biggest protest you could do is opening up. I watched one business stay open yesterday, like one. Everyone else didn't want to do it. So they're going to lose a lot of money, and that's just what it's going to be. Like, you can't force somebody to do it, but at a certain point it's going to have to be 100 businesses or 1,000. So I'm doing what I can to show people like Ian Smith. I've mentioned him 100 times. Why? I'm not a business owner that operates physically. He is. So he's got an Instagram. He'll show you exactly how he did it. He puts something on his door, he eats the fines, and then he keeps it moving. And in some places they don't even fine you. Or the fines are not even, they don't even go through because they're not constitutional. So, someone said civil disobedience. Trust me, I wish I could end this completely. I wish Trump could end it completely, but I'm not sitting here saying I can or he can. I'm just saying, like, it's going to take more. And that's what I'm trying to do. I can't do it all, but if I could get 10 or 100 or 1,000 more people to feel that way, and they have conversations with one or two or three or one business owner, I called a business the other day. I called one from Los Angeles because I was talking to my reporter friends about what they're losing. And I had a conversation with them. I don't have to do that. I could sit on my high horse and say, oh, I have a Facebook page or something no one cares about. But like, I actually called someone. I didn't get money for it. I just wanted to have a conversation with the boss, talk to him about what's going on, and see, if I could give them some courage. And I think it works. That's one business. Why do I have to do everything? I've done more than most. I'm not virtue signaling, but people are attacking me. Protests are cool, but it's going to have to be multifaceted sort of thing. So you get what I'm saying? The guy from Toronto, I think Adamson's Barbecue, he opened and they arrested him. Why is he the only one? They did that. Now he's a hero. Now he's going to get a bunch of money on GoFundMe. He's going to be rewarded for his courage. They might have thrown him in jail or done something, but I guarantee you he comes out of this stronger, richer, and a bigger legend. He's now etched in Canada history. It's like, why is he the only one doing it? I'm doing what I can, but I don't run a business. But if I did, you best believe I'd be like Ian Smith or one of these people. I would, or Adamson's. I would get pulled away before I shut my business down and let the government destroy it. So we need more courage. That's it. You can't do it alone. If people email me, what can I do? There's only so much. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, and then we'll move on. I'm saying that if 20 million or 50 million or 80 million or 10 million or whatever it is of Trump supporters, instead of realizing how, in a sense, urgent this is to open businesses, they sit back and wait and think that Trump's doing it. You're wrong. If you're waiting for me to do something, I can't do it either. It has to be a collection. And I'm not blaming individuals like it's your fault because you didn't do anything. That's not the vibe I'm trying to get. I'm just saying collectively we have numbers. And I just feel like if Hillary Clinton was in office, all these numbers would have been doing this since April. But because Trump was in office, I feel like, a huge part of those numbers are not taking this very seriously because they're waiting for Trump or Sidney Powell to do it, when in reality, what they're doing has nothing to do with this. I mean, hopefully it overlaps, but that's all I'm saying. We have numbers, but we're just not using them. So I'm Trump can do a rally, but when he does a rally, if you want to be honest, he talks more about vaccines than he talks about opening. I went to a rally, and the quietest part is when he talked about the vaccines. People barely clapped because most of his audience doesn't really care that much. So it's like he didn't even talk about the lockdowns at his last rally. He's putting up 30,000 people, and he's like, I rushed vaccines. Cool. He didn't even mention it. I'm sure he'll mention it this time, but, at a certain point, someone says strategic. No, here, I'm going to say this and then we'll move on again. I think it was strategic for the election. He needed to win an election. I don't need to win an election. If you're a business owner, you don't need to win an election. You have a candidate you support, but Trump is doing business. My business is not waiting for him to do my business. He does his business to win the election. He has to make sacrifices to try to win the election, or he thinks that's a good strategy. You don't have to. You could support him and then not do it at the same time. But once again, like everyone can't do everything, but it's like, it's strategic. It's like, yeah, for him, not for us. I'm sure it's strategic to shut the country down for 2 months, but for us, that strategy destroyed tens of millions of businesses. So if it's strategic for him to win an election, but it's strategic for people to lose everything, that strategy does not help us very much, And I think neither side really fears the American people. I think the left wing is not that afraid of conservatives. And I think the right wing under Trump is certainly not afraid of conservatives because they don't give them any backlash ever. So I don't think Trump fears making a wrong decision. And I don't want him to fear, but like the government is supposed to think if I sell out the First Amendment or if I shut down business, there's going to be a lot of backlash. There was almost no backlash towards Trump directly because everybody likes him. So everybody shifted the blame elsewhere. If that was Biden, they're not shifting the blame elsewhere. Yeah, it's Newsom's fault, but it's also your fault. It's also, you extended it for 2 months. You kind of started it. So it's like the complacency is very real. I'm not going to pretend like this is normal or not a problem. It's a major issue. I think people, Trump does not fear doing any of this stuff. And the Democrats, I don't think are really scared either. I think they realize they can get away with all this. So we have to be a little bit, in a sense scarier, not like terrible, but terrifying. But like, they need to feel like if I sell out the First Amendment, there's going to be some right wing backlash. If I shut down for too long, there's going to be some backlash. Right now, the liberals have like no backlash, and Trump, he could pretty much do whatever he wants. He could. It's the point where, if he was anti-vaccine and didn't do Operation Warp Speed, 90% would have supported it. If he did Operation Warp Speed, 90% support it. If he sells out the First Amendment for anti-Semitism bill, 90% support it. If he said that's unconstitutional and I don't want to do it, 90% support it. People will support anything he does. So I don't think he really, in his business world, I don't think you're a part of the equation that much at all. Like he likes America, he cares about people, but he's not like afraid of losing you because he knows that he'll never lose anybody who supports him. It's like they'll go along with whatever I do. I'm the best option. Like, what are they going to vote for, Jeb Bush or Biden? When I say this stuff, people are like, what should I vote for, Biden? It's like, no, of course not. But like when we get two options, that's kind of the game that they play. Trump is 20 times better than Mitt Romney, but they feed off of this energy of like, like, what are you going to vote for him? Oh, I can't vote for Biden. No. Anomaly, how dare you say that? What are you going to vote liberal? No, I voted all Republican, and my vote actually mattered. I got a Republican to win in my area, but in general, it's like, yeah, that these are the games they play. Like I'm voting for him either way. He has my vote, and he knows that because there's no other option. Someone said RUT testosterone booster, RUT testosterone booster. Not sure what that means, but thanks for the super chat. Let me see. Mark said, prepare yourself, stock up, but don't hoard. Things are going to get a lot more interesting and freaky. Yeah, I feel like things are going to get wild either way. No question. Like, whether Trump pulls this off to me, it's going to get a little weird. All right. 11017 man said, do one proactive thing a day and talk to others who are still asleep. If we all do those things, we'll change faster than most people think. Keep up the good job. Thank you. Yeah. And that's, because I do want to address this real quick. I have been getting emails and I feel bad because some people are like, what can I do? I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like, it's okay. You can't do everything. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, when Trump got 50, 60 million votes or whatever, now he got 80 million votes, whatever it is, from 65 or 68 to 80 million, whatever. It's like how many tens of millions of people had an awakening? I know personally, I get messages from, people who say my parents were liberal. They love your videos now. And, they get it. I've gotten thousands of messages like that. So I know directly myself, I probably convinced millions of people. If you also consider the fact that I helped Brandon Straka get to where he is and Candace Owens and did stuff like that then had rippling effects to Kanye West, Trump, like I've done my part. I can't do everything. But in general, it's like, even on a small scale, like I don't just do that. I try to help locally because it's like, yeah, I talk to the world, but like at the same time, where's my money going? Where's my energy going? Can I fight it in court? Maybe I could do illegally. So, these are like, we don't have to do everything. I can't do everything. You can't do everything, but one conversation, one person, just one thing. It's like they call it the 6 degrees of separation. What's it called? Pass it forward. I think that stuff's very real where if you do one nice thing for one person, whatever that is, like that has a huge carryover. So that's all I'm trying to do. We can't do it all. You can't get stressed out because everything's not happening at all times. But, if we all did a little bit, I think things would happen a lot quicker. And I do personally believe what I've been saying is that, in the Trump world, I think the amount of people who are waiting for Trump to do it is astronomical. And I truly believe if he wasn't there, none of these people would feel that way. And just same with like the vaccine thing. I think the elites in the media, I think they're like psychological geniuses. Like the people who really sit behind and make these games. I mean, look into like Nazi, psychologists and like, some of these people like lobotomies. You go into the history of MK Ultra, stuff like that. These people know how to control people's minds. So like, I think this whole year is like a test run, and I'm not trying to be mean, but like humanity failed, in my opinion. Trump supporters didn't do well. No one was very impressive at all. But they're like, okay, if we do this and they do this, it's like stimuli stuff. If they like Obama, but we bomb 7 different countries and, go to war with Libya, can we get a liberal to support that, even though they pretend to like black people, but we're going to go like kill a black leader and let the country go to shit? Like, and then they do that and they're like, oh, wow, we really can do anything we want to liberals because they're like programmable. It's like, you believe this until you do it. You're afraid of groups, but you're not afraid because of the George Floyd protests. We can get you in the streets to burn things for us and, give us 2 months of time. Like, this is all like a psychological experiment that we're just failing. So like, to me, liberals are wildly easy to control. It's like literally they can get them to believe anything. And I think they figured that out. And as soon as they realize like left is right, right is left. I mean, it reminds me of the quote from, I forget what it was, Isaiah, where it said, good is evil, evil is good. Like they've successfully proven that over the last 8 years, where they can get liberals to believe up is down is up. Once that happened, now the whole world turns upside down because they figured out this is how we can operate. And then they do it and they can literally get away with anything. Like they brainwashed the left so hard that nothing matters to them anymore. They're so easy to control. But here's where it gets interesting. I think, I think the right wing is not brainwashed as people think. So they're like, if, these people are super, skeptical of the lockdowns and the big pharma takeover, but we get Trump to do Operation Warp Speed, will they support it? 90% support it. If Trump sells out the First Amendment for anti-Semitism bills, can we use Ilhan Omar to get the right wing to support it? Can we send them to war by dangling Al-Qaeda over their faces? So like they psychologically test the left and the right. And I feel like both sides are just really failing. Like the left, I've never seen something so shockingly sad. It doesn't even apply to 8 years ago. Like this is nothing like the liberal of 8 years ago. They've completely lost the plot. But the right just assumes, I think, that means they're like really on ball. But I just don't see it. I'm like, you guys are super easy to fool. And they're never going to stop fooling us if we're not so easy to fool. So that's my main picture. We can't do everything. We can't just blast open businesses and save the whole world like immediately like Superman. But at the same time, I think we can do better. I'm not impressed with the numbers. That's just me. Jessica Shee, what's up? Jessica says, we're shutting down again on Monday. People in LA are literally cowards. Sorry to say. They were okay with riots, but not saving their communities. LA is trash. Yeah, it's sad, but LA is like, I've lived there for 7 years. LA is brainwash central. I mean, I've seen it happen over the last 5 years. I thought I was crazy. Once I left LA, I've never been happier with that decision. I hate to say it, but someone said Isaiah 5:20 exactly. But with LA, I was like, is it just me? But like, it's like, no, they've brainwashed the city to listen to Jimmy Kimmel. LA or Hollywood, he sits in a Freemason building on Hollywood Boulevard, and the whole city is just going to trash. But he's talking about all these other things. So it's like brainwash city. They do all the mass media from there. They talk about all these other things, divert attention. He's a bad guy, orange man bad, vote for us. And then they just decimate the city. And it's been bad for 4 years, 5 years. It's been horrible. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse before COVID. LA got worse. And then COVID and then lockdowns and then shutting down businesses on Thanksgiving. People are going to wake up in LA or they're just going to get run over. So for the conservatives in LA, you guys are the last shot. The liberals are just going to either just get steamrolled or they're going to have like an awakening, because it's like brainwash central. And I don't understand. Like I used to believe in certain liberal theories, but I was never this brainwashed. I mean, I was caught in certain brainwash like everybody, but I never would have fell for this lockdown stuff. I always knew they were doing this, even for when I was left wing. Like I used to listen to people who talked about George Bush because I thought George Bush was a phony, and I still do. It's like liberals like George Carlin used to understand the plot better than anybody. I never would have fallen for this. I don't understand how liberals are falling for like shut the country down, shut the restaurants down, protest and riot in the streets, but don't run a small business. You can't eat outdoors. I mean, I feel bad for anybody in LA. I left there 6 months ago. I could not be happier. It's shocking how cowardly and dumb the people are there, but it's not surprising. So be safe, LA. God bless y'all. To the small businesses, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to call small businesses. I'm trying to, see what we can do. But the government there is just wild, and people don't seem to have the fight in them. Danny said, Studies have said between 250,000 people and 440,000 people die every year from medical errors. What happened to the Hippocratic Oath? Yeah, those numbers change because then they say, well, it's not that many, it's this many. The numbers are shocking. You Google it, that's what John Hopkins said, and then they said it was a lie. I'm like, John Hopkins is no small fry. They had the numbers pretty high, and then they're trying to go back and say it's 90,000, whatever it is. Yeah, medical errors kill people, and I'm saying that for legal purposes because they always try to censor me and stuff when I'm not 100% accurate. Even when I am 100% accurate, they still censor me. But in general, the fact that I've said this since April, the fact that they won't let you go into the hospital to see whoever's in the hospital, that is a crime against humanity. Like with that many medical errors, if there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, however many medical errors there are a year, they won't let you see your family member in the hospital because of COVID, knowing that kills that many people. That's a crime against humanity. Locking down your grandma, crime against humanity. This is all crimes against humanity, in my opinion. I have no tolerance for this. I have no weight. Sidney Powell has no lawsuit for this. She's working on other stuff. That's great. God bless her. But I don't have this like desire to wait to see what Trump does. Like I hope he wins, but it's like he clearly, this has been 8 months of this and I see no plan for it. It's very sad. Someone said Newsom, Whitmer, and Bezos are like perfect villains out of Central Casting. American Psycho, Louis Ihorn, and Lex Luthor. No, for sure. This seems like a movie script for sure. It's bizarre. People are fighting with trolls in the comments, guys. I mean, if people don't agree with me or whatever, don't argue with them because I don't even see them. You going to talk about that anomaly? I didn't see what you said. I just saw you said, are you going to talk about that? Someone said government spied on us illegally. Bezos got 10 for computing cloud to sell in America. Yeah, I know Microsoft and Amazon at one point got some sort of cloud contract with the CIA. Interesting. Washington Post is, I believe, still owned by Jeff Bezos. Washington Post says, shut your business down. Shut your business down while our CEO just gets bigger and richer. I'm sure there's no interest there. All right, let's read some comments. I almost said commies to some commie comments. Let's see. I'll stay for like 5, 10, 15 more minutes. Then I'm out. Thank you guys for being here. Someone said, what's the end game? Sorry, I'm innocent. I mean, we'll see. It depends what end game you're talking about. And someone said, and you don't know what they're dying from. That's why they want you to be in the hospitals. That's my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do my next, maybe not my next video, but I always talk about this book, How to Lie with Statistics. And I've incorporated it into a few videos, but I'm going to do a video because there's parts in this book that Bill Gates wanted you to read. Like even with, the polio, when there's financial interest, things get different. When companies get billions of dollars and you get paid a certain amount of money for certain things, there's always financial interest. And the fact that they say it's not, or experts say that's a lie. No, it is the truth. So anybody with COVID, they're saying died of COVID. That's not a theory. That's what they're doing. So if you can't see the person in the hospital, everybody's got COVID. And I talked to a nurse. She messaged me anonymously, but she said, and I already knew this, but she said anomaly, they test everyone for COVID. If someone dies, they test them for COVID. They test everyone at the hospital gets a COVID test. There's never been, imagine if everybody at the hospital got an influenza test. Let's say there's an influenza test. There would be hundreds of thousands of deaths from influenza easily because they're testing millions of people. They've never done anything. You test people for the common cold in a hospital, and if they died, you say they died of common cold. That's what they're doing for COVID. If you got a positive COVID test, death by COVID-19, the hospital gets a certain amount of money, and that's what they're doing. It doesn't matter if you died of cancer or hit your head or did anything. They give everyone COVID tests all the time, and then if you get positive for COVID, they mark it down as positive for COVID. This is a scheme using third grade math to never stop. If they did this for the common cold, you'd have 100,000 common cold deaths, because when people die and they have the common cold, first of all, they never test you. They don't test you for the common cold when you're in the hospital normally. And second of all, if you die with the common cold and you have cancer, they say you died of cancer. Now they say you died of COVID-19 as well, or you died of, if any virus that they did this for, you would have hundreds of thousands of deaths. It's a math problem. Give 50 million people a test, or 30 million people, whatever the number is at the end of the year. This many people die every year, 2 to 3 million people. How many of them will have COVID-19? Well, how contagious is it? If it's a very contagious disease and it comes up in positives a lot in the tests, then yeah, it's statistically impossible for this to be under 100. How could it possibly be under it? If you test influenza this month, hundreds of thousands of deaths. If you test common cold this much, hundreds of thousands of deaths. There's never, and that's the part that really annoys me with Trump and a lot of Republicans. I've said this since April and probably March. I mean, probably before it even got bad, I was talking about the math of how much tests, the more tests we get, the more cases we got. But I have yet to see Trump say this. He says more tests, more cases. He started saying that a few months ago, which is good. But it's really this simple to explain to people. Anybody that dies with COVID-19, they say they died from COVID-19. And everybody's getting mass tested everywhere. So this equation equals it's never going away unless the virus goes away. So no one's explained that. Trump has tried, but he says it in his Trumpy way a little bit. But like every Republican, Charlie Kirk, Shapiro, everyone should have said this since April. I'm not a math wizard, trust me. But I'm also not a moron. So it's really that easy. And if they let him get away with it. Trump does virtually nothing about it. Charlie Kirk does nothing about it. Shapiro, I actually haven't ever heard them say it once. The only person who explained it in a smart way is Elon Musk. He's the only one. And someone said, give me a message. I have the Bill Gates CIA debriefing. That's a fake video, guys. Look it up. The Bill Gates CIA briefing video, it's a fake video. It's from a movie, and that's not Bill Gates. You could literally search what I just said, and you'll find out it's from like a documentary a couple years ago. It's not Bill Gates, which is a problem because there's a million things that Bill Gates is doing, but you're talking about a video that's not even real. So it's a problem, but whatever. In general, you get what I'm saying? Every Republican should be talking about this. And not only what could we do? If every conservative knew the truth, which is very simple, so many people would have been over this in April, but 95% of conservative thought leaders and journalists, they're not telling you this simple math equation. So, it's been frustrating since April. And that's why it's like, wait for Sidney Powell. I hope Sidney Powell has the goods to take down bad people and overturn the election. But Sidney Powell's lawsuit has nothing to do with what I'm saying. And what I'm saying has everything to do with if we're ever going to be free again or not. You get what I'm saying? Sidney Powell could win every suit she ever files. And you're not going to be free because no one's telling you this stuff. Angel for Truth said in the super chat, COVID has never been isolated ever. It's on page 39 of the Johns Hopkins website. So the vax can't be safely made, said Angel for Truth. I'll check that out. But from what I've heard, I heard a few people talk about Koch's postulate, I think, which is like the term for isolating the virus. I'm not a scientist, so I can't really speak on that, but I have read and heard stuff about that. And at this point, I don't doubt it. I can't claim it because I like to be accurate and I don't know enough about it, but I've heard that multiple times and that would not shock me. I'll check out the Johns Hopkins thing. From what I'm hearing from people that seem pretty wise, that seems to be the case. Monica said, my friend wants to just wait and run for local office to fight from the inside. And I say, focus on fighting back and rallying people locally now. Which do you think is more prevalent? Well, I mean, running for office is definitely great. I mean, I think they're both ways, running for office helps, rallying and getting people locally now. I think they both help. My thing is this, I don't want the devastation of a year more of this. And it's not her fault. If she runs for office, she's got to be patient. But I just can't imagine one more year of what they're doing right now. I can't imagine one more week of it. And I just don't understand why people aren't doing more. So you can only do so much. Or frankly, I'm not blaming you. To be quite honest, I'm more annoyed at our leaders and Republican. That's why I call them out. If you have a job you can't do that much, but you pay, and even me, some people give me Patreon and buy my shirts and stuff, and a lot of it's ad revenue, but my job is to, at this point, really just give the truth and help the country. That's, essentially what I'm trying to do. there's people who make 10 times as much as me and who've done 100 times as less. I'm more frustrated with them. They have resources, they have money, they have media groups, they have big organizations with millions of people on email lists, and they run on, and I haven't seen them do anything. So, I wouldn't blame your friend for trying to run for office. I think that's fine. And if you want to rally locally, that's fine. I'm just frustrated our leaders aren't doing more. And on a local level, we can only do so much. But if you can get one business or two business, or if you own a business to, try to fight back or get people, I think that's great. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like self-will, like you can't force someone to work harder. You can't force a bit, like it's got to come from them. So I don't have all the answers, but I think running for office is good and local stuff is good as well. Danny said, watch the movie Johnny Mnemonic. We're literally being like that soon if this continues. Not sure if I spelled that right. It's a Keanu Reeves movie. Haven't heard of that. I'm a terrible movie guy, but I'll check it out. Eric Reynolds said, realist perspective on the net, anomaly hitting the nail on the head. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you. Someone gave me a dancing bird. I love that. Whatever that thing is, dancing pear with a heart. Thank you, Crazy Legs. Nicole said in a super chat, my husband just opened a bar named Freedom Hall, and we're supporting the Constitution and true America and refusing to wear masks. People are coming together to support us and keep us open. Nicole, that's fantastic. If you could, I don't know if you have an Instagram, you or your husband just message me. Let me know that because I'm going to forget this because all the super chats. But message me your business, message me what you're doing if you can on my Instagram, Dream Rare, and I'll see what I can to help you because I'm launching a store soon. I have a meeting tomorrow. I'm launching a website with USA products. So I'm going to feature businesses, bars. We're going to do it all. And, I got to get my legal stuff right, but I'm going to do everything I can to help people in every way. So I would like to help you out if you're publicizing that already. Freedom Hall, message me, let me know, you or your husband. Let's do it. Janitorial jargon, no more faith in leaders. Yeah, I mean, I like Jesse Lee Peterson when he says, first of all, Jesse's just a national treasure. The guy is hilarious. But he says basically that Black America went down the tube when they started following leaders instead of God. I think that's a profound statement. And I think that's happening to a lot of Trump people too, where it's like, listen, you should like certain people. I don't think you should hate everybody or not trust anybody. But, he says the Black community was better when they followed God. When they started following Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, that's when the Black community got led astray. You had liberals and fake leaders, take them away from God and put them into the hands of leaders. So I think that's even true to Trump supporters and liberals and everyone. God is the leader. And I'm not going to tell people what religion to be and preach, but I think people put way too much faith into leaders instead of God, and then you end up getting deceived. But it's like people, it's not like they just like, I like certain people. I love Trump. I think he is like a national treasure, but he's not God. He's not my God. I think people love God and they love Trump. So then they look up to Trump like God. And then when they get deceived, they blame Trump and get mad, but it's actually your fault. No one told you to think Trump was God or to think, Bill Barr was God. It's like you're reversing, like certain people, follow certain people. I think Trump is one of the best leaders that the modern history's ever had, but I think people lose sight of God. Someone said God, then country. Exactly. And I think conservatives have that where it's like, in my opinion, you have God, you have country, you have family, put that probably above maybe God, family, country, whatever. But then like leaders need to come below, in my opinion, family, God, and country. So right now you have people putting leaders above God, leaders above family, sometimes leaders above country. I like Trump, but it goes God, family, country, in some sort of order. Trump comes after country. I like Trump, but the reason I like Trump is because Trump is good for the country. That's why I like him. The second he doesn't, if he does something against the First Amendment, I'm calling him out. I like him, but I put my country above him. And you should put your country above me. If you like my personality, but then I start selling out the country, that's when you got to step. I'm not your God. I'm not your leader anymore. So I think people have they've put leaders above country and leaders above God. And that's responsible for a lot of problems on the right wing. On the left wing, I don't even know how many people believe in God anymore. They don't like the country. Their list is so screwed up. It's like Fauci, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, and Obama. It's like that list is a nightmare. It's, you've put you put government oligarchs and phony scientists over God and country, that's not going to work out well. But on the right, I think people put leaders over God. Someone said the feet is frozen. I don't think so. We'll see. Someone said one more poopy butt before you go. People like the poopy butt stuff. I mean, you know, at a certain point, they're not going to wipe your poopy butt. I know people like that. And guys, stop. And on Facebook, you don't have to fight with people in the comments. I don't even see the comments. Just let if someone disagrees, let them disagree. If someone says something mean, let them say something mean. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Don't argue with them. You can if you want, but I don't even see what you guys are saying because I just see you guys arguing with each other. It's like, I'm like, just, it's okay. All right, let's see. Someone said, our forefathers listened to God and their intuition. I don't know where it is. Next time I got to bring it because I keep saying this, but I have a great quote book from the founding fathers. The first time I read the quotes, I'm thinking to myself, you know, what is it? Jefferson and Washington, they're so wise. The word that comes to my mind when I read their quotes, wisdom. It's one thing to be intelligent. It's one thing to be strong. Wisdom and common sense are so underrated. I think the working class, non-college degree person has more common sense and more wisdom than the college graduate. That's why they're like 90% of college graduates voted for, Joe Biden. It's like, that's not a good thing. That means that you got 4 years of college and you ended up dumber than people who never went to college. It's like education is great. Learning, reading, writing, it's all fantastic. But if you go to college and come out more brainwashed than you were, I think common sense is wildly underrated and wisdom is underrated. But when I read the founding fathers quotes, they're so wise. Like, why? Wisdom. You don't see wisdom. Like, they knew certain things that were going to happen 300 years in the front because they're like, just wisdom. They're like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Leaders are going to take advantage of the Constitution like this. Look out for this. They knew it all. And then you get to like Truman and they're just like, drop the bomb. Like, people got way dumber in the 1900s. You could a George Bush quote compared to a Jefferson quote. It's like George Bush was not saying anything profound. And if he was, somebody else probably wrote it. So that's what I thought when I read the quotes. I was like, wow, I was blown away by how wise the founding fathers were. Way wiser than right-wing leaders even today. They knew everything. Or at least they claim to. Pale Horse Rider said, CEO of PCR tests, Carrie Mullen, stated that these tests are never supposed to be used to diagnose a disease. They're to stimulate a sample, tested it. Yeah, no, I heard that. I mentioned that earlier, that the PCR founder, from what I've heard and read, said, this is not the use for them. But this whole year is such a joke. I mean, you almost have to like laugh at it. It's like, if you can't beat it, you just got to enjoy yourself, do what you can, but you can't let it eat you up because it's so stupid. Like, I don't think I'm that smart, but I'm just like, I'm not that good at math. I'm okay at math. I'm not terrible, but like, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a microbiologist. Like, I don't have 50,000 degrees in this stuff. And I'm just looking at these equations and I'm thinking to myself, like, it's so obvious. It really is. Like, it's like, when I say it's third grade math, it's literally third grade math. It's like this divided by this. Like, you learn that in third grade. And the people who are the most fooled by this are people with college degrees. Like, the people that have an ego, they think because I'm this, I know this, it's my gate, I own it, I control it. Like, the average farmer knows more than these people. I'm not that good at math. I'm not an accountant. If I can do the math and I could figure it out, I'm pretty sure most people can figure it out. But the people who don't get it the most are these people with like blue check marks. And, it's like the ego is just out of control. Then they post these pictures on Twitter and their eyes are all soulless. They're all like empty vessels. Like, she's like, we finally got Trump to answer a question. The journalists, whatever, Collins, she posts, they're all in masks and all their eyes, they look like tweaked out. I'm like, dude, they're like empty vessels. Like they've like lost their soul or something. It's this year is just, it's so embarrassing. It's really funny, but it's really sad. It's like so simple, but that's what I was saying. when you could strip people of common sense and you can convince them, I'm going to find that quote again. It's the Bible quote of Isaiah. I think it's 5:20, where I don't want to misquote it. Let me just scroll and find it. He says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. That's basically in the Bible calling out upside down world. When you can successfully program people to believe that up is down and down is up, you can literally do anything. And this year is the year of literally doing anything. Like it's like we all saw this coming because we're all laughing at the Babylon Bee, and we're like 2018, we're all making jokes about how crazy the left's gotten, but it really got to the point where the people at the top probably looked at everyone and were like, we can literally get them to do anything. So this year, let's test it. And they tested it and they can't. Like, people are walking around looking like dogs. And like, it's pathetic. Like, but that's how real the mind control is. If you can get people to believe down is up and up is down, you can get them to do anything. And the left is very easy to control. And that's why I say these things to the right. I say it to challenge you. You're not going to hear it anywhere else, because I understand. I'm like, if they can convince us and sneak attack us, they're never going to stop, because they know how to look at stimuli and be like, okay, if we do this, what do we like on the right wing? People like God, people like the country, people like family, people like patriotism, people like the military, people like the police. And then it's like, how do we get the police to turn against the people? The police don't want us. There's this, and they're so crafty. I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but it seems pretty planned. Someone said Operation Paperclip. Yeah, I'm sure that didn't help when they took the top people from Nazi Germany, the smartest engineers and scientists, to the U.S. I'm sure they added to the fair share of like psychological, strategy. Someone said, I want Alan West 2024. I don't know much about Alan West, but I think I saw him in a documentary. I know about him. I literally don't know that much. I'll check out some stuff, a good video or something. Someone said, people do not realize that they are the plan. That's it. God will bless people, but we have to bless ourselves. Someone said NASA is Nazi. Yeah, I saw there's this that's true. I actually have a book from him, like, about Mars, because I'm skeptical of Mars. So I bought a Werner von Braun Mars book. I should probably find it. I don't know. It's all math equations, but in general, Werner von Braun literally discovered or founded NASA. And there's this tweet from a liberal. She tweeted something like, it was super funny because she was like freaking out about the Proud Boys. And the liberal was like, these Proud Boys are such bad people. They don't remind me of the type of people that could send a man on the moon. Like her theory is like, the Proud Boys are so bad. The Proud Boys are such Nazis. Like, they could never make a man on the moon. I was like, she doesn't even realize that it was literally Nazis who put a man on the moon, or said that they did. So it was like, she's like, these Nazis could never put a man on the moon. You're like the original ones who did, but it was pretty right, pretty good stuff. But yeah, that's who founded the space program. I got to check out this Mars book. I'm a little suspicious of Mars, but someone said, Joe said the poor boys. The poor boys. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, come on, man. You gonna vote for me? Come on, man. Come on, man. You gonna vote for the guy? You gonna vote for the guy? Come on, man. Come on, man. There's been 100 billion people from the coronavirus. Come on, man. Trump killed 200 billion people. Come on, man. Come on, man. Dude, I don't even think I'm starting to think he's a hologram. And I'm not trying to start a new Joe Biden conspiracy, but like, I see it, like, literally, I'm just like, is he really a thing, or is this like a malfunctioning hologram? Come on, man. Me and Corn Pop. Come on, man. I used to sit in the pool. Come on, man, with the roach and the leeches. And, the kids used to sit on my lap and play with my hair, turn orange in the sun. Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't know. If I would have went to college for like 8 years or something and got a doctorate degree, I'd probably vote for Joe Biden. Danny Flower said Jay-Z's walking with his "Do What Thou Wilt" hoodie like it's some Satanist Aleister Crowley quote. Nobody knows who Crowley is, so they don't care. I have an interesting fact. One fact is, "Do What Thou Wilt." Actually, Ab Soul, I like him. He dropped a whole "Do What Thou Wilt" album, which is Aleister Crowley. I have the same birthday as Aleister Crowley. And the crazy part about it is not that I have the same birthday as Aleister Crowley. It's that I knew I had the same birthday as Aleister Crowley. This was years ago, and I was hearing about him. I listened to, like, obviously, I know about him as he was big into, occult, and he also, I guess it was like Thoth, and he's the cards that a bunch of the witches and stuff use, like that was Aleister Crowley. But I listened to Robert Anton Wilson talk about him, and it was kind of like an alternate perspective. And I don't know why. I was like, I feel like he has my birthday. And I went to his thing, and he had my exact birthday, and it freaked me out. It was like 12 o'clock at night. Yeah, October 12th. Yeah, I was freaked out because I just knew for some reason. It's very strange. I'm not like him, but listen to Robert Anton Wilson talks about him. It's pretty interesting. He was definitely like someone who just was a wild boy. Christina said, turning in late paper as usual. God bless you. Tuning in late per usual. Thank you, Christina. Someone said Crowley did a lot of immoral stuff. It's not cool. No, he was wild. And I think, he did a lot of stuff that a lot of people in politics, they really look up to him. I'm not into that stuff, so I don't really know all about the Crowley magic and stuff, but I think it's still used to this day. Someone said Crowley called himself the Beast. No, yeah, he was wild. I'm just saying, I don't know why I knew it. Someone said he was evil. No, I'm well aware. I understand. Someone said it's my birthday. No, I'm not into the magic stuff. It's not my stuff, but I think, I went down, I listened to a lot of stuff about him, documentaries, because I was just intrigued, because I was like, who is this guy? Happy birthday, bro. Yeah, thank you. Late birthday. Someone said GMO cannabis is bad. Probably. Someone said he was demon possessed. I'll tell you my take on it, because I listened to Robert Anton Wilson. He has like kind of like a defense of Crowley. Basically, he tells the alternate history of why he thinks Crowley is a good guy, or in his view. I don't agree with him, but my thing was, I think this was at a time when things were very straight-laced. I think things were very straight-laced, like Christianity dominated. And he was somebody that fully just rebelled. So he was having sex parties. He was doing all this crazy stuff. And he tapped into a certain energy. And I think he tapped into a dark energy. But for those type of people, he was a trailblazer, because he was like just the first one to do all that stuff. So he just went full the other direction. My guess is that I don't think he was the worst person. I do think he was probably possessed by demons, though. I think he just went full out and discovered a lot of stuff, and then just like did some crazy stuff. This is from Robert Anton Wilson. I can't confirm this, but this is what he said. He said that L. Ron Hubbard from Scientology was a huge Crowley fan, and he said basically that L. Ron Hubbard tried to do magic that Crowley did and open a portal, and he says that he did it wrong and like screwed up the planet. This is crazy stuff. I'm not saying it's true now, but that's what Robert Anton Wilson said. He said that L. Ron Hubbard was doing Aleister Crowley magic and just went too far with it. Interesting stuff. I haven't listened to that in years, but I used to listen to try to like figure out what was going on there. Christina, did I miss your birthday? Happy birthday. It was last month. Thank you. Danny said he was wild in the sense that he sacrificed blood to Satan and sexual black magic. It's really disgusting listening to what happened to Isaac. Yeah, I mean, I'm not into that stuff. I just, I hear the mainstream perspective, then I heard the other one. It's not my thing. The Seeker 2020 said, why is the Pope attacking capitalism, announcing October 6th the church will not take donations from capitalism? This Pope is, I think, this Pope is a communist, to be honest. I mean, God bless Catholics. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm not really a Catholic, but this Pope is like a globalist communist. I do not like this Pope at all. I don't trust him. I'm not even just exaggerating. This guy's a full-blown communist. You know, like he's totally in on the global communist agenda. So I'm not into the Pope at all. Let's see. People are talking about all the messed up stuff Crowley did. Yeah, like I said, I'm not well versed in Crowley. I don't know his full history. I haven't went into it. I've only heard one take on it from Robert Anton Wilson. You could probably find it on YouTube. He was trying to give an alternate perspective on it, but it's not something I really took that seriously. I just had like a weird moment where I was like, I wonder, just like based off what he was saying. But yeah, I'm sure that's all true. So I said, Anomaly, thanks for the gravy. Thank you, DJ. Robert Anton Wilson's an interesting guy too. I think he's more of a liberal, but he was the inspiration behind the Illuminati cards as well. I think someone Jackson made the Illuminati cards, and Robert Anton Wilson wrote the book that had basically was the precipice for that. And if you have the Illuminati card deck, it's expensive now, but it's from the 80s or 90s. It's like wildly accurate. So this guy was on a level, and you know, he was good at predicting stuff. He's an interesting talker, but it's not. I haven't listened to that stuff in years. Any thoughts on Bin Laden's niece? I know she likes Trump, and she's like big into the Q stuff. It's interesting. The Illuminati trilogy, yeah, it's the card deck. It's very cool. It's based off of Robert Anton Wilson's book, and it's like scary accurate. Someone said we're all living in reality tunnels. Yeah, that's you probably referencing Robert Anton Wilson. He's an interesting guy. That's the only place I've heard him talk about Aleister Crowley, but he was trying to give like an alternate perspective on, you know, how people said it. But no, he's definitely was like a full-blown like anti-Christ character that was just totally just wild. But his stuff, I don't get into that. I'm not into witchcraft and all that stuff, but he kind of laid down that whole world. Like he invented all that stuff. So if you want to know what these people are doing, you know, or at least what they think they're doing, there's all these type of books that he wrote and his type of ideology. I've only got into a little bit of it, but I've never read his books. I've only kind of listened to it, but I think he's an influential character that people don't know about because he kind of like goes under the rug. But I think a lot of these Democrats, a lot of people are still harnessing whatever he did. I can't put a finger on it because I haven't listened to that much, but to me, I think there's like light energy and dark energy. I think light energy is maybe like longer term, it's good, but like dark energy, like the stuff that these evil people do, it's like a quick boost, but then it's like, you know, like it fades away. Like it's almost like taking a Red Bull or something. And this is all speculative. I'm not an energy expert by any means, but it's like, you know, that's the type of stuff that they tap into. It's like dark energy. They get a quick boost, but they probably feel like crap. And, you know, it doesn't last very long. So you're always on to the next thing. Whereas light energy is more long-term. It's stronger, but it's not, it's like doing heroin or something. Like you do heroin, you're like, oh, I feel great for an hour. And then you feel like crap. To me, that's what light and dark energy is. It's like, yeah, someone said artificial. Exactly. So I think, that's probably the stuff that Aleister Crowley was into, like dark energy. He was like the father of that, where he's doing all this type of stuff, you know, creating all these things. And then since then, you know, he was like an experimental type figure. And since then, I think people have probably abused it times 1,000 because he opened up a portal of some sort. He opened up kind of that he opened that up. And then since then, people have like, you know, been onto it, but I don't know that much about it. I just listened to an alternate perspective of him like 2 years ago. And it was that guy, Robert Anton Wilson, but that was even before politics. And I knew that much. I would like to listen to it again, actually, to remember why I think that. Someone said, watch the whole video of William Bill Cooper that he showed us last week. Yeah, it's a great video. Someone said people open portals. Well, that's what Robert was saying. He was saying that in his perspective, he was saying that Crowley had invented that stuff, but he didn't do it. Well, he did some stuff, but he was saying for the portal thing, he was, in his perspective, and I can't verify any of this. It all sounds crazy to me too, but he was saying that L. Ron Hubbard was like a massive fan of Crowley, and he overdid it and like did some weird stuff. I don't know. I mean, you got to hear it from Robert Anton Wilson, but I remember reading that and I was like, what? It was like blowing my mind 3 years ago. I was like, what the heck? Someone said Brave New World in 1984. Different authors I know should be mandatory in school. Both classics. Someone said the Pope or Jesuits, they are communists. Yeah, I don't dive into that much. The Pope's not my guy. Someone said Crowley has a lot of hidden followers. No, I mean, that stuff is huge still. If you know any sort of like chick, like yoga chick that does like witchcraft and stuff, a lot of that stuff is Crowley based. He's like an idol to a lot of people. It's like, I'm trying to think of what it's called. Tarot. I think tarot cards. I think Crowley invented tarot cards from what I know. He invented a lot of the Thoth, the Book of Thoth. He's a very interesting character that's very, very influential that no school talks about. That's why I got so into it. So I wasn't into his stuff, but I was like, I want to learn about him because you can't find anything on Aleister Crowley, but he's one of the more influential people in like dark magic, all these cards that these girls are into, horoscope type stuff. He was like the founder of all that. So he was a very powerful character that they just don't teach about at all. Someone said tarot cards were invented by the Italians in the 1600s. This is not my forte, obviously, but if he didn't invent them, he definitely reinvented them, or I don't know, made them prevalent. I'm not sure. I'm not, this is not my forte. I'm just telling you the little bit I know. Someone said tarot's from Egypt. Well, here, I'll look it up because I don't want to spread misinformation, but I'm kind of warning you guys. It's not my forte. Let me see. Crowley. All right. I guess, yeah, the Thoth tarot deck is a divinatory tarot deck painted by Lara Frieda Harris according to the instructions from Aleister Crowley. So it's the Thoth one. That's what I was saying earlier. That's a popular one. Maybe it's not the whole thing, but he like basically reinvented it or created his own. I don't know. It's not my forte, but you could look into it if you want. There's a lot of different tarot cards. Yeah. Someone said some of these cults are Christian. A lot of people are doing a lot of stuff. I'm not really going to dive into it. It's not my forte. Someone said he channeled the Thoth deck after doing a ritual in the pyramid. So you're right. Yeah. I mean, you could look into it. I'm not like a historian by any means, but your thoughts on the stainless steel monolithic art found in the desert. That's very strange. I saw that in Utah. They had the monolith. I don't know who did that. Very bizarre. I have no idea who did that stuff. Someone said people get obsessed with witchcraft and tarot. It's evil. I'm really not a fan of it. So I'll explain what I'm saying, because when I listened to Robert Anton Wilson talk about Crowley years ago, this is just like a YouTube video. He was basically coming from the perspective of, they smeared this guy. He's not who they said he was. He didn't do all this stuff. They're lying. He did sex parties, but he wasn't that crazy. That's what he was saying. And this was before I was really into religion or Christianity or I was more just like science and, climate change. So, I listened to that, and he has like this whole alternate perspective, and I question anything in history. I have to really question, because I just don't trust what like the mainstream definition is. So that's kind of what I was thinking then. And then, after this, like now I kind of see what he was doing, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like, he was going for the full-blown like anti-Christian thing, which is just clearly, in my opinion, that's going to end up in an evil direction. But there's a lot of strange things. Like, I'm not going to name names and stuff, but I know certain people that are Jewish that believe that 666 is good. Like if you know Jared Kushner, he buys 666, like the property 666 whatever street. A lot of people in Judaism, they look at 666 like a good number. If you're a Christian and you believe the Bible, the 666 is the mark of the beast. You get what I'm saying? So like to me, that's not good. That's not my number. But and that's what Aleister Crowley was. He was like, he was totally embracing 666. He was like, I am the mark of the beast. So it was like a totally wicked anti-Christian movement, but there's certain people on the planet that love that stuff. They love the magic. They love, certain Jewish people think 666 is a good number. I don't know enough about it to get into it, but it's not my number. But a lot of this I was listening to before I really got into the Bible and stuff. But yeah, it's different people have different thoughts. Someone said 666 is everywhere. Well, I think Satan controls the earth. I think it's God's earth. But right now, if you look at Upside Down World and what they're doing, you see 666 a lot. Someone said that I almost have 666 viewers on Facebook, but it's like that number pops up a lot, I think, because there's a lot of evil in the world. So it's not my number. It's some dark stuff that certain people are doing, but there's, it's a fast, like I like listening to these perspectives because I don't get like full blown it. I don't buy a tarot deck and I'm like, this is my thing. But I want to know what other people are thinking. I'm interested in like why do people do that? What's up with these card decks that everyone's into? Like why do they think that? Why does Jared Kushner like 666? Because like most Christians would not even buy 666. It's like you don't even if they're like, hey, do you want this building? It's like no, I wouldn't even buy a building with that number. But other groups seek it out and they're like, that's my thing. I want that. Very interesting. The Seeker 2020 said PA report mailed out 1,823 something ballots, of which 1,400 were blah, blah, blah were returned. Yet total mail-in number. Where did the extra come from? The Seeker, I hear what you're saying. I think they need to do something about it. If this is all true and there's more ballots, mailed out than sent in or whatever, or vice versa, they got to do that. This should be enough evidence. Supreme Court, they got to take it there for sure. Someone said gematria. I'll talk on this real quick. Who gave me the $20 super chat? I'll read that in a second. The gematria thing, it's not my thing. So I understand it's like patterns and numbers, but I'm not very well versed in it. Everybody was asking me about it. I'm not an expert on it. So I haven't really looked into it that much. Virginia said, thank you for the super chat. What are your thoughts on Joe Biden quoting his campaign on the Great Reset? Build Back Better, Great Reset. It's all a thing. They're doing it. They're shutting the world down and they're trying to rebuild it in their little communist tech world. So Joe Biden's in on it. I think the Pope is in on it. A lot of people are in on it. It's like Boris Johnson's in on it, even though he's right wing. Trudeau obviously in on it. It's this game they're playing with us. I'm not a fan. Alex Nonia said 666 refers to the Seal of Solomon, aka the Star of David. 6 sides, 6 planes, 6 angles. Said Alex. Yeah, I mean, I never understood the Jewish perspective, and I can't speak because there's so many different types of Jewish people: atheist Jews, Orthodox people like the Talmud, the Zohar, the Torah. You never really get a straight answer, because there's so many different beliefs, and a lot of people just don't believe in any of it. But yeah, I do have a Jewish friend who was trying to sell me on 666 being good, and I'm just like, that as a Christian, it's not gonna fly with me. So it's like I'm not trying to say everyone's doing that because I have no idea. I don't know, because it's the one religion where you just really never get a straight answer. But yeah, there's something there, no question. Someone said numbers are numbers, LOL. Some people don't care at all. I find it interesting. Despite everything, I feel in my gut that Trump will come out as a winner. What about you? I just don't think you could ever bet against Trump. I don't know. I mean, I don't, in my reality, I don't see him just like stepping aside. That would just be like a shocking day. But either way, it's been such a crazy month. I'm kind of bracing for whatever, like it's not going to make or break me. But no, I agree with you. I don't, in my opinion, I just can't fathom him not having some sort of plan in some way. So, it's going to be a crazy month. But yeah, never bet against Trump until it's over. He doesn't seem to lose very often. We'll see what happens, except for a few bankrupted companies, but that's fine. When you do a lot of business, that's not abnormal. Someone said CERN symbol is 666. I'm not familiar with gematria, but I do believe that, symbolism is big with the elites. They love a good symbol. They love a good Moloch. They love a good 666. They love a good, there's a lot of symbolism everywhere. I mean, if you look at a dollar, I don't know if I have one here, but we're American. Like our whole money is all Egyptian, like pyramid, this, that, like the money symbolism alone is like, what are you guys doing? It's like a lot of very odd stuff. So it's interesting. I like symbolism. I just don't get, I don't go full blown into it, but I do start to notice patterns, and I do see certain stuff where, that's definitely, I think they like to troll with the symbols. Someone said, I thought 3 was a holy thing. Once again, I guess it really just depends who you talk to. Whoever, if you talk to a Talmudic Jew, they're going to feel differently than maybe a Zohar Jew, or, someone who just doesn't care, versus a Christian, versus someone who studies patterns or, does magic tricks. So I think really depends who you talk to, what they believe about certain numbers. But seems like everyone's got certain feelings about certain numbers. And I mean, the Bible in Revelations, they talk about the mark of the beast. So that's why Christians feel that way. Someone said, Ace of Spades said, I am a Talmudic Zohar Jew. All right. Shout out Ace of Spade. Someone said Tesla loves 3, 6, and 9. Someone said 33 is Masonic. That's for sure. Reality is math. Universe speaks to us in math. I believe that. I mean, you look at like a cauliflower and it's a fractal, like that's God's plan, no question. Symbols, numbers, like the fractal cauliflower, I'm sold on it. It's like that's a special thing. All right. I'll go 5 more minutes and then I got to go. I always stay too long, but I have fun. Appreciate y'all. We always have a rare discussion at the end. I like doing my thing, but I also like answering questions. I find it fun because this is stuff I don't normally cover. So I find it interesting. Thank you guys for staying. I'm glad you do as well. You cannot even do math. What do you seek in the world of, I don't know what you're saying. God bless it. Thank you, Kathy. I just want to remind you guys real quick before I leave, and this is not a fake sale. This is a real sale. I feel cheesy even saying it, but it is a real sale. The shirts are 20% off on dreamrare.com. You just have to type in light winter. So the opposite of dark winter, all one word, all caps, light winter, LIGHTWINTER. Light winter gets you 20% off all my shirts. The God bless shirt, the censorship shirt. I forget the other one, 2 censorship shirts. I'll work on new ones, but that's what it is. A week, we got a sale. Light winter is the code. What do I think about Tesla? Evil, good, bad, ugly? Nikola Tesla or Elon Musk? Nikola Tesla is an interesting guy. I mean, I always liked him a lot. Elon Musk, Tesla. I mean, I like Elon Musk, but I don't get caught in the personality. I worship God. I put God and country over leaders. So I actually like Elon Musk, but I don't take him that seriously. He's kind of trolly. I find him very funny, like Trump. But that's kind of where it ends with Elon. Like, people get mad. I like him from what I've seen, but I mean, when you own the car that could potentially be the car that everybody owns, right there is a red flag. So, I'm not going to just follow Elon off a cliff. I want to drive a car outside of the grid of Tesla. I don't want the government to own all the cars. So eventually they're going to probably try to merge with him or something. The space stuff, I think it's cute, but I'm not a big space fanatic. So I don't fully trust anything that's going on up there. Just being honest, I don't. So I like Elon Musk, but I'm not like a huge SpaceX NASA fan. I find it pretty funny and interesting, to say the least. But, I'm very skeptical. As far as Neuralink, I mean, the pros and cons of Neuralink are obvious. The pros are he could be able to cure certain diseases. He could be able to fight Alzheimer's and do sorts of cool stuff. The con being, he's planting a computer chip in your brain. So, anytime that somebody's doing that, it's a little bit of a red flag. So, it's like, that's kind of I like Elon Musk as a person. And, I think that's kind of the extent of how I feel about that. So I like him, but he's definitely a big tech guy. So I would say keep your eyes peeled, and that's it. You know, I wouldn't like worship him off a cliff, but I think he's interesting, and I have, you know, I think he could potentially end up being a good guy, but I have no idea. When I say that, people get mad. It's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, I'll trust him. I'm like, I like him. I actually really like Elon Musk, but I got my eyes peeled. Do I like Grimes? I'm not a hater, but not her. Like, listen, I like weird music. I like Animal Collective, and I do like some weird music. Grimes is not my thing. I'm not a fan of the music. It kind of bugs me out. It seems very dark and very creepy to me. But you know, I'm not going to shame people based on what music they listen to. I'm not a huge fan, and she is definitely an odd choice. I mean, Elon's a weird guy, but it's pretty funny to me. I'm not sure what's going on there. But if you know, to each their own. Not my music though. I've checked it out. I seen Social Dilemma on Netflix, psychological manipulation? I have not. I don't have Netflix, so I actually got rid of I got rid of Netflix when they gave Obama a big contract. I deleted Netflix that month. I knew right when they gave Obama this huge contract, I knew the whole thing was going to go downhill. So I got rid of it like 2 years ago. Thank you guys. Oh, God bless me. Thank you so much. I was like, why is everyone saying bless you? Because I sneeze. I get it. Thank you. Is your Twitter account the same as your YouTube account? Because you sound different on both. No, I run my Twitter, but here's the thing. This is why I like to live stream more. When I'm live streaming, I can explain myself and it's more natural. I have a good time. I'm not worked up. When I'm tweeting, people bug out at me all the time. And it doesn't what I'm trying to say doesn't seem to translate properly because I'm actually kind of funny and I actually have fun. I'm not like a downer, but I'll say something. I'll be like, hey, I'll say the same thing I would say on YouTube, on Twitter. And then everybody freaks out. But maybe if you freak out on here, then I could just joke about it and we move on. But on Twitter, it's like, hey, anomaly, the Trump. I don't know. It's just annoying. Like Twitter's just not, I'm texting, you're texting, I'm texting. Like I say something funny and then I'm mean or I say something mean. I don't like Twitter. I got to stay off Twitter. It's definitely funnier and more natural for me to answer on YouTube than it is on Twitter. It doesn't translate well. I'm good at Twitter sometimes, but when people like give me backlash, I'm not good at responding. It annoys me more. Twitter, so yeah, I use Twitter too much and I just don't enjoy it. I much prefer a good stream. I'll second that. Owen and Anomaly stream. Are you talking about Owen Schroyer or Owen Benjamin? Either way, I don't know. I mentioned it the other day, but when Owen Benjamin, if that's who you're talking about, he did the Zoolander. Oh yeah, Benjamin. He did the Zoolander Trump thing. To me, that's like the funniest thing I've seen all month. I can't get it out of my head. I told his Twitter account, whoever runs his Twitter account, I was like, bro, that's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. He said Trump is like Zoolander, and he made comparisons. It's on BitChute somewhere. It's so funny, and there's so many similarities. It's really, really funny. I can't get it out of my head now. And like literally, he's like, it's really fast. He's like the vaccine. It's the fastest and strongest. Like he literally kind of talks like Zoolander. It's bugging me out. But yeah, it's super funny. It's on BitChute. Somebody uploaded it. That's how I saw it. Very funny. It's on DLive too. Yeah, I don't use DLive that much. I saw it on BitChute. So I use BitChute more than YouTube. Jay the Way, thank you so much. You're on Parler now? Yeah, I'm on Parler. Parler at Dream Rare. So follow me on Parler. Someone said Twitter's my boxing ring. That's what it feels like. That's why I don't like, because like here I'm having fun. On Twitter, I feel like I'm always fighting. People are fighting me. I'm fighting them. They're saying this. I'm like, get out of my face. It does feel like a boxing ring. And I feel bad because I'm getting mad at my own fans. Like, Anomaly, my husband loves you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're annoying me. I get on here, we joke. Donna gets mad. I say, Donna, calm down. Everybody laughs. On Twitter, it's like, Anomaly, who sold out you? Like, people are meaner to me. I'm meaner to them. I feel like I'm in a ring just fighting my fans. I'm like, this is not fun. I can't do this. This is not sustainable. So yeah, Twitter, it's like, I say something, Anomaly, you don't understand. Trump, who sold you out? And I'm like, stop. At least here I could joke about it and we move on. Someone said Trump was brought back in to build trust back in the political system, said Jason. Well, here's the thing. This is precisely why the Q stuff creeps me out. It's not any of the other, like the reason the media hates the Q stuff is not the reason I don't like it. It's not even close. You know, like they're mad at everything that you're doing. I'm creeped out the fact that they got a bunch of conservatives and libertarians to trust the government and wait for the government. It's very bizarre. It's like, you know who's going to save us? Big government. Big government, Trump, Barr, Durham. The FBI is going to save us, the white hats. And I'm just like, maybe, but maybe you're getting tricked into waiting for the government. That's the creepiest part. It's become the biggest phenomenon in the right wing, and it's literally getting libertarians to wait for government. Someone said I caught COVID 3 times. All right, you're lying, bro. Ace of Spade, I think you're trolling. You said a bunch of stuff. I don't think you're being serious, but it's funny. Someone said Elon was dropping COVID facts from the beginning, facts about COVID. That's why I actually like him. Listen, I don't know what he has planned for the future, but when push came to shove for America, he was there. He was there showing us the truth. I will never forget that. That's big. No, he did more than Charlie Kirk did. I'm just going to say he did more than Ben Shapiro did. Elon Musk on Joe Rogan single-handedly did more than Trump did early on. So how am I going to be mad at a person? Yeah, he's doing weird stuff, but when push came to shove for America, he definitely gave us the facts, and that's what it is. And the rest of us, we have to have discernment. It's not, we don't have to follow everybody off a cliff. Like I think maybe the most profound thing or the most important thing said this whole live stream was how people put leaders above God and country. I think that's the biggest thing to take on to is like when you put a leader above God or your country, you're losing. So as long as it's God, country, family, obviously high up, and then Elon and Trump, you have to put them below God and country or else we're always going to get fooled. And that's the problem. I say I like Elon and people are like, I don't put him above God. I don't put him above country. So it's not a big shock to me if Elon disappoints me. People act like I don't even agree with what he's doing in space at all. I don't even believe any of it, but I don't take it out on him. I'm not like, Elon, you lied to me. I never expected him to tell the truth. So if he tells the truth to me, and maybe he is doing something, maybe he's not, I'm not sure. I just find it really funny. Christina said, God bless you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have these huge expectations for Trump or Elon Musk. It's like, I like Trump. He exceeded what I originally thought he was going to do. He gets the pass because I didn't think he was going to save the whole world with Bill Barr. I thought he was never even going to win because Hillary was going to win. So he's already exceeded what I thought he would be able to do. Now, God, country, God, family, country, leaders, the leaders are never going above God and they're never going above country. And everybody lets them go. They like worship these leaders like they're gods or they're better than the country. It's a trap. Someone said soy-based cars. Are the cars based on soy? If that's true, that's really funny. All right, we're almost at 3 hours. I guess we go to 3 hours exactly, and it cuts off. It's over at 3 hours. That's it. 8 more minutes, I'm done. I always say that. We end up staying. It's all good. I don't have that much to do. I almost finished my book. My buddy's going to come tomorrow, and I'm going to finish it. I'm letting you guys know my book. I don't want to tell you the name yet, but it's about words that censor. It goes through the words racist, sexist, xenophobic, conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer, anti-Semitic, Islamophobe, whatever, all those type of words. I forget the exact 8 or 7 or whatever it is. And I'm breaking them down because even earlier they said anti-vax. That word that's a made up word to shut down any conversation about a vaccine. Like you could be pro-vaccine, but anti 8 months through safety trials, like bang it out and put it in immediate. Like that doesn't mean you're are you anti-juice? Do I say you're an anti-juicer? Oh, you don't like orange juice? You're an anti-juicer. Oh, you don't like cranberry juice? Oh, you're an anti-juicer. Oh, an anti-juicer. This is all made up. These are all made up vocabulary to shame people. And then people embrace it. They say, you know what? I am that. And that's fine. I get it. Just like F you, I am what I am. But I don't accept that because I'm like anti-juicer because I don't like cranberry juice. I don't like all juice, but I like juice. I'm not an anti. So they love to like make a good word that doesn't make sense. And I'm breaking through it all. I'm busting them out with my vocab. showing how someone said so many labels. I'm breaking all of their labels. It's a matrix breaking book. I'm breaking through all of them. I have it almost completely written now. Someone said you're anti-vitamin C, anti-squirting. Last one, can't wait to buy your book. Christina, thank you so much. I appreciate you. So I said there's a lot happening tonight very soon that just there's always something happening. Guys, this is what cracks me up too about, I'm not knocking you, but I find it very funny. When people are like, guys, the big boom's coming. There's something big tonight. It's Trump world, folks. It's never not a big thing. Literally, since Trump got into office, every day, bombshell, bombshell, bombshell. Like the news never stops. So it's like, you know, there's going to be big stuff tonight, big stuff tomorrow. No question when it comes to the election, you know, there's going to be Supreme Court rulings. There's going to be, and it's good, celebrate it. But I just find it funny that people are like, big boom coming soon. He predicted the big boom. And not only, how could you not believe he said big drop? And when do you remember a day without a crazy headline of something crazy? Like the world is so crazy that when somebody can prove that aliens are there, no one cares. Like literally, like, you know, Tucker's like, aliens might be real. And everyone's like, yeah, who cares? Like, you know, like no one, well, first of all, it's probably a fake drop anyway, but no one cares. Like the world has gone so crazy that even the biggest story from 5 years ago wouldn't even be a top 5 story for today, let alone for the week. Someone said, don't say my name, bro. All right, I won't. I know that's a trap to get me to say your name, but I'm not going to say it now. I liked your book. Well, it's not out yet, but it'll be out soon. The Seeker 2020 said, I need a doctor's clearance for now, regular flu vaccine by November 30th. I work at the VA hospital. Well, God bless you, the Seeker. Man, look into it. It's going to be a tough time. I mean, I wish I could just say good news, but yeah, if you work in a hospital, a military, you know, elderly home, like they're going to try to pump these vaxes like crazy. You might get lucky and find a hospital that doesn't want you to get it, but there has to be, in my opinion, like it's got to be a mass, like everybody just, I don't want to lose my job. And I get it. Who wants to lose their job? No one wants to be broke. Everyone has bills to pay, but that's how they get us. They're going to like be like, you have to do it. You have to do it. And if you want to be honest, the reason it's here is because Trump rushed it through safety trials. So now it's like, oh, Trump's saving me with Operation Warp Speed. No, he's rushing an mRNA vaccine through safety trials, and then they're going to force you to get it at the VA hospital. How does that help his own supporters? It doesn't. It never did. Just no one cared. But anyway, we are where we are. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look into the medical exemption or whatever you can do, and God bless you. Because I know first they're going to come for frontline workers, then they're going to come for the elderly, then they're going to come for the military, then they're going to come for teachers, then they're going to come for students, and then they're going to come for me. So it's only a matter of time till they come. You know, it's like, anomaly, get your vaccine. And it's like, nah, I'm good on it. Like, you have to get it. Just leave me alone. Like, I know they're going to come and be like, well, you can't go here. You can't fly. You can't go here. And then I'm going to be even more pissed off next year. And I'm going to live on a farm somewhere just screaming at everybody. And that's what it's going to be, because that seems to be the only way around, you know, having to deal with society that tries to pump a vaccine in your arm. So, yeah. Someone said you should go live on IG. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I do IG live sometimes. I mean, there's only so much time in the day. I've been live almost 3 hours. We got 3 minutes left. Let's make it good. I don't mean to go long this long, but I actually have fun on live streams. I hate Twitter. Remind me to stay off Twitter. I hate Twitter. Every time I'm on Twitter, people are arguing with me. I'm arguing. Someone nailed it. It's like a boxing match. I feel like I'm always getting fought on Twitter. On here, I don't care. Someone hates, I think it's funny. On Twitter, it's just like a constant tug and pull, and we're texting. It just sucks. So I got to write my book, eat dinner, not go on Twitter, never go on Twitter, only a few times, you know, do videos. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I feel grateful that I'm able to do this for a job somewhat. So, and now it's actually strategic for me to do live streams for multiple reasons. I'll tell you why. My other videos, they get a lot of views on YouTube and Instagram. Now my videos are getting like 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 views. I'm crushing on Instagram. But on Facebook, my live streams do better than my other videos, which was never a thing until they cut my regular reach. So now my live streams are bigger. So it actually makes more sense for YouTube to do more live streams. And I actually like them. They're just not as effective to share sometimes because you want to do a quick little video. So I mix it up. It's quick videos, long videos. And not only I don't like the long videos. Well, I just did a 2-minute video yesterday. I actually drank for the first time in months. I had a few drinks and I did a video while I was drinking and I put it out last night. I was like pretty drunk and I got a 3-minute video out. So, and I'm not like an alcoholic. I drank for Thanksgiving. I supported a bar that didn't close. It's a good time, but I still got a video done. I can't stop working. I got a good work ethic. So Christina said, I mean, at this time, the world is blessed to have someone like you. Thank you for all you do. Christina, thank you so much. You're literally too kind. I feel bad. Thank you. Not really bad, but thank you. I saw that you sang. Yeah, I was trying to sing that. All right, this is the last thing. We got 1 minute left, and then it's a 3-hour live stream. I was singing the Chattanooga song. I was joking last live stream. You remember? It was like, went down yonder on a Chattanooga, no, river water. I did that song last live stream, and then I was at a bar, and that song was playing. I was like, it's a classic. But I said Chattagoochee, and everybody corrected me. They're like, it's not Chattagoochee, it's Chattanooga. I'm like, listen, when I was young, I never knew what they said. It just sounded like Chattagoochee. So, you know, and I didn't know what it even meant. But Bingo said ego. Oh, bingo, way to end the stream. That's what it is. I'm singing, having fun with my friends, and my ego's just so blown up because I'm singing country songs at the bar. Shut up, bro. It's like, just stop. Don't ruin the end of the live stream. Down by the river on a Friday night. I don't know the words. All right. I said I'm leaving at 3 hours. So we're doing it. Alan Jackson, a banger. No question. All right. God bless you guys. God bless your family. I'm out. It's 3 hours. I said this is it. This has to be it. I got to sit down. I've actually been standing up for 3 hours. Probably not good for my legs. But Dream Rare, once again, light summer, not dark summer, light summer, LIGHT. Light winter, LIGHT winter, all one word, all caps, 20% off, Dream Rare, only for a week. It's a real sale. It's not a fake sale. You don't have to punch someone in the face for a flat screen TV. You just have to sit at your computer, but you don't even have to do it at all. It's just an option. It's a real sale. All right. See you guys. Have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow or some other time. All right.